Beautiful Thursday morning, I should say. And in some parts of Accra, it's slightly cloudy. And I know that when it gets that way, it gets tricky, whether you have to wake up or not. But please, this is the best way to wake up in the capital and beyond. And so join us. We are streaming live on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube. This is where you get all the information and the education you need to start your day. But let's start with a daily boost of motivation with our quote of the morning. And today's quote is from Queen Elizabeth II. It is often the small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about the most lasting change. The small steps, not the giant leaps, that bring about the most lasting change. From Queen Elizabeth II, giving us the motivation for the day. So yes, we are inching towards Christmas, and you are asking, I need to do some great things. I need to do some massive projects. Well, she says that it's the small steps. If you want lasting solutions, lasting impact, just start small. Grow gradually, and then the impact will be inevitable. So that's our quote for the day. But let's learn some English with the word of the day.
Today's word is intransigent. Intransigent, it's an adjective. Intransigent means unwilling to change one's opinions or behavior in a way that would be helpful to others. Let's exemplify it. The school remains intransigent about Muslim girls praying on campus. Intransigent.
All right, and the word clearly fits into one of the most topical issues that we've got to deal with this week. That has to do with Wesley girls and the issues surrounding Muslim girls praying in school and religion coming to the fore, and its head-on collision with education. And it's one of the conversations we'll be having as well today on the show, among a myriad of other conversations. But then it's a Thursday, so why don't we throw back with some good old-time music right here on the show. That classic one there. And so let's the court now. GHOne Inusa has joined me with GHToday. Mutala, good morning.
You've really mentioned a solid name, you know. Good morning.
Yeah. It's a very, and I don't know, since I discovered you were GHOne, there is no way I can call you Mutala without adding the GHOne. Like, Charlie. You know, we have to make sure that identity sticks.
You're just pushing me out there. Yeah. It's a name that the family really loves, so I really appreciate it.
So I'm now a friend of the family, helping them to put
you're not, the family. Not even a friend, you are a member.
Mutala, how's it going?
I'm good, Charlie. How's it going with you? Today is Thursday.
It's a Thursday.
Yeah, it's a Thursday.
Yeah, we are inching closer to the weekend.
Yeah, I just want to say that when you stop wearing your attire, I'll wear some. Yeah.
See, Captain wants to give me some pressure this morning.
No, it's not pressure. I'm being realistic.
Mutala, it won't work. But there's a country
you're talking like a Liverpool fan this morning. Meanwhile, I'm not a Liverpool fan.
Well, but all I know is that Chelsea has been laughing at Barcelona for some time now. Yeah, it looks like the Women's Fellowship has
if the Barcelona fans are really in pain, then what about the Liverpool fans? Charlie, football is really some way.
Anyways, that's why I don't follow football. And I only follow court matters because we are going to the US for World Cup.
Yes.
But then, Charlie, the Deportees matter is still
it's still there. Yeah. So whatever you are doing, Trump is looking at you when you get there.
Good morning, Donald Trump. This is Kodjo Mensah.
I have registered your name, so when you get there, you already have. But I've heard your name already.
No, but he knows that when I come to America, I'll still come back to Ghana.
You come back to Ghana.
I love Ghana.
Yeah. He knows you're a trusted person.
Absolutely.
We'll not sit there and then we'll come and watch the football.
And then we'll come back. I mean, there's enough money to make here.
I know, right?
So talk to me about the case and how it's turned out so far.
Yeah, so we do know that there's an issue regarding the deportation of West African nationals from the United States. And then quite recently, we realized that Democracy Hub has initiated an action at the Supreme Court. One, they are asking that particular MOU be made public, be released. Secondly, they are making the point that it is being implemented. Whatever MOU Ghana has signed with the United States is being implemented. The Supreme Court should stop that so that persons who are remitted to Ghana and are being distributed to their respective country or being sent to their respective countries is unconstitutional. And so the Supreme Court should intervene. Now, the question has really been, is there a document like that? So the court said that once parties are not even certain what the applicant filed is in relation to media reports that they have heard. So now let's find out if there is an existence of such documents. The court gave the parties 7 days to really submit that there is an existence of such document and it's relevant. The Attorney General willingly, November 28th, in fact, November 18th, indicated to the Supreme Court that yes, whatever document that was sent to the Foreign Affairs Ministry, we want to make it available to the courts in private confidentiality. The court will have to look at it so that they can make a firm decision on the matter before the court. So yesterday, the issue about the parties should file their written submission did not serve the court. The Attorney General has intervened and said that we are making whatever document we have known to the court. Yesterday, the case was called. The parties announced themselves. The plaintiff, Oliver Barker, former, represented the plaintiff in the matter. Dr. Justice Tremside, the Deputy Attorney General, represented the states. And the court, 5-member panel, presided over by Justice Gabriel Puaman. Immediately the case was called. The court, beg your pardon, the court indicated that the AG has intervened by saying that they want to show copy. However, they want to retire, meet the AG, and then look at the document. That particular exercise will not include the applicant or the plaintiff in the matter, Oliver Barker, and all of that. So they retired. The judges went in. Deputy Attorney General carried the document in a brown envelope and then followed up. When they were back, Justice Gabriel Paman indicated that yes, they have seen the document being referred to, and then they have heard also from the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. James Mensah, and they are of the view that the case be adjourned to the 17th of December for a ruling as to whether the document that we have seen, the legal effect of the document that has been shown to them, what it really means to the matter before the court and all of that. So yesterday, they were supposed to have made a determination on whether there's existence of such a document and its legal effect. They said that once they have seen a copy of how it looked like, what it is, and having heard submissions from the Deputy Attorney General in chambers, the court will want to make a ruling on that on a December 17. Then after, they will know how the issue of the injunction will play out and how the substantive matter on it being declared as unconstitutional as per the plaintiff will also come to play. I've been speaking with Oliver Barker from our moments after the Supreme Court took their decision.
Yes, the court has decided to give the 17th to rule on the disclosure, so we're going to wait and see what the court has to say to us.
What will be the effect of the decision of the Supreme Court on the substantive matter that you are actually seeking for?
So as we understand, the substantive matter is dependent on the legal character of the documents in question. So if the court is satisfied with the documents and considers that the entirety of the matter can be disposed of, it will then give us directions. If the court feels that at the end of the day we should proceed with the main matter, I suppose after that we'll find out.
All right. So Oliver Barker from our there, giving us some perspective on what will likely happen at the next agenda if the Lords make a decision in relation to this very matter before them and all of that. In this case, apart from Justice Gabriel Palmer being the presiding judge, Justice Ernest Gao is part of the panel, Justice Richard J. Frimpong is part of the panel, Justice Senyor Jamefe, and Justice Havisata Amalibuwa. So these are the 5 justices of the Supreme Court dealing with this subject matter. So on the 17th of December,
8
we'll
days
get
to Christmas.
8 days.
We'll make a determination on that. Very, very interesting, though.
Yes.
But let's talk about Nana Apia Mensah.
That's good.
Because it looks like that case seems to not see finality. It's just back and forth in courts. And what's the update?
To the courts, it's a court of records. At the same time, it's a court that works with procedure. And it's a court that has hierarchy. And the hierarchy will have to be put into effect depending on what is happening at some point in time. And so the reason you have the High Court is that when there's a matter, depending on the authority or depending on the magnitude of the case, if the court has jurisdiction to deal with it. Most of the cases that we do before it goes to the Court of Appeal and Supreme Court, the court of first instance, High Court, it will start from there. Now, if you disagree with anything, remember High Court, apart from treason, felony, it is one judge that deals with the matter. So if the judge takes a decision and you are of the view that you are not happy with that, you go to the Court of Appeal, 3 wise men, that you are going to meet 3 judges who will then evaluate the work done by the single judge. If the 3 of them also take a decision and you are not happy with that, then you go to the Supreme Court and meet 5 judges who then evaluate the work done by both the single judge and that of the Court of Appeal. Even if the Supreme Court, the 5 of them decided to take a decision and you are not happy, you can seek a review and they will add 7 for them to review. But remember, the Supreme Court can depart from its own decision at any point in time. They can take a decision this morning, 9 o'clock, 9:05, they can decide that decision that they have taken 9 o'clock, they want to change that. And the laws allow the Supreme Court to do that in relation to that. So Namwan has been at the High Court with a stay of proceeding. He said that, look, the order from Justice Ernest Owusu-Dapaah for him to open his defense, he disagreed because after the state had closed its case, after calling 9 witnesses, he believed that no case had been made for him to open his defense. The court said, no, you are opening your defense because prima facie evidence has been established. He said, look, I'm appealing at the Court of Appeal. Stay proceedings. Let me go and come. The court said, no, there's no express order from the Court of Appeal. Allow me. do my work. Then he said no. He went to the Court of Appeal for stay. The 3 wise men dismissed his request for stay of proceeding. Then he said, look, that is why we have the Supreme Court. I'm going to the Supreme Court. He's filed a case at the Supreme Court for stay. And 2 occasions, ruling was supposed to have happened. It didn't happen. At the last court sitting, the court did adjourn the matter to the 10th of December for a ruling. But then the High Court one is also pending. Yesterday, he appeared before the court to inform the court that the case before the Supreme Court has not been determined yet. However, a date has been rescheduled to the 10th of December for a ruling. And the court, if that being the case, then the High Court matter will be adjourned to the 16th of December. That's 6 days after the Supreme Court potentially would have given a decision. Then the court will be clear as to whether to hold on and wait for Namwan to finish his appeal, or the court will say proceed. Anytime that the Court of Appeal takes a decision, he will have a remedy in that respect. So Namwan yesterday was at the High Court, and the case has been adjourned to the 16th.
Absolutely. So what are we looking forward to from today in court?
So Chairman Wontumi.
Yes.
Chairman Wontumi will be in court today. Very simple in the white shirt, and then and then his lawyer Andy Apiakubi. So today the expectation is that this is the case that he's been charged together with Akunta Mining and one other who is at large for allegedly assigning mineral rights without authorization. He has pleaded not guilty to all the count or the charges against him. And today the expectation is that there will be a case management conference before Justice Audrey Kokuvite. We do know that prosecution is likely to rely on 4 witnesses in relation to this matter. This morning, he is expected at the court for case management conference. Then after, we'll know the date that Chairman Wontumi's trial will commence.
And then in terms of what else to look forward to, Abdul Hanan Wahab, who says the disclaimer issued by our own Abdul Hanan.
I watched that video. I was like, you explain to her.
Yeah, Charlie, he doesn't want any association by name. Before you know it, he's being hauled before court.
So Abdul Hanan,
former CEO.
Yes, Bafak CEO, National Food and Buffer Stock CEO, and the wife, they've been slapped with multiple charges. Over 70 million Ghana cedis is alleged to have been misappropriated by these officials. In fact, official and the wife, they were arraigned together. And I remember when they were put together. So Mr. Wahab is the one in the nose mask and holding the wife's hands, the 2 of them in nose masks, leaving the premises. Deputy Attorney General, who was in court for this case, was also present at the last court sitting. So what we do expect today is for case management conference. And like I did explain in the Wontumi's case, they are supposed to come look at the evidence that the state has against them, witnesses that the state will be parading in respect of this very case and all of that. Then at the end, the court will have to fix a date. But it will be consequent on whether the state has been able to file the processes, the disclosure, and the witness statement as per the direction given by Justice Audrey Kokuvite in relation to this matter. And so they have all denied the charges. Mr. Wahab, 100 million cedi bail, 6 sureties, 4 to be justified. He's on a stop list. He's not supposed to travel and all of that. The wife, half of his sum, 50 million, 4 sureties, 3 to be justified, and she's also not to leave the jurisdiction until further notice or express permission from the court for her to do so in relation to that. But my understanding is that both of them have been able to meet their respective bail conditions today before Justice Audrey Kokuvite. They are back in court, and then we'll know what will happen from there in relation to this one.
Absolutely. Mutala, we'll leave you to be able to keep a very close eye on these cases for us. It's a Thursday. Tomorrow when we come, we won't advise anybody.
I know, right? But just before I go, let me say a very big good morning to my brother, one of my brothers here in Ungwa. Now, currently he works with the Futu Municipal Assembly. He's currently in the Futu. He's watching us live and saying that he admires your outfit. So
I think I also admire my outfit. So I'll do more.
Good morning.
I'll do more of that. So good morning to him, and good morning also going out to the man Coleman. He's in Tudu, and usually he's a plug for Italian suits and shirts and all of those exquisite ones. He's also a big fan of the show. And so good morning to you, Coleman, inside To Do. This is still GHToday. We'll be right back. Stick and stay with us. Bye. Start with the Chronicle newspaper, which says Baumia sweeps votes in Brian's backyard. Shalima Abusi has no criminal record in Ghana. This according to the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service. And Educhum will increase Ashanti votes according to delegates. And the scripture is in Deuteronomy chapter 20 verse 4. For the Lord your God is the one who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies to give you victory. I think it applies to all three headlines on the front page of the Chronicle this morning. Let's check out some other newspapers. The Ghanaian Times says get fund to allocate 65 million cedis as lifeline for 9,000 special needs students, according to the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu. There is also Ghana's ambassador designate to Burkina Faso, Kenneth Akibate, a public servant par excellence, and captured there as well. Korea PM confers diplomatic service medal on Dr. Akoria, who is the acting director general of the Ghana Health Service. Parliament scraps COVID-19 levy finally. So if you do go to the shops and you're still charged COVID-19 levy, that's an illegality now. CRI urges national policy to protect religious rights of students. That's the Ghanaian Times. The Dispatch this morning says an overview of President Mahama's extension of IGP Christian Yohuna's tenure by 2 years. Yes, we saw that letter a couple of days ago, 2 more for Yohuna. To his credit, Mahama has dismissed any talk of running for another term in 2028. And this is something that he said time and again. Chief of Staff Julius Deborah directs that talks begin with U.S. Embassy on visas for World Cup fans, and has the picture of the Chief of Staff Julius Deborah. The Daily Graphic this morning, interest rates to go down. Bank of Ghana cuts policy rate to 18%, brings back 14-day treasury bill. And so, yes, the big announcement came yesterday from the Monetary Policy Committee that the Bank of Ghana has cut policy rate to 18% by 350 base points to 18%. And so that's some good news. And we are hoping that it translates to the rates at which the banks actually lend to customers as well in terms of loans. Now, Parliament repeals COVID-19 Recovery Act. China ready to support Ghana's development agenda, according to Ambassador Tong. And First Bank Group CEO confers with President Mahama, reaffirms commitment to Ghana's economic transformation. That's the Daily Graphic. The Daily Guide this morning is reporting court order sparks clash over Kpandai seat. And we saw the fire in Parliament yesterday. Roxanne Nelson Echidafiamekpo and Alexander Kwamina Afenyomak and Osahin yesterday went at each other over the legitimacy of the Pandai MP Matthew Nyindam. While the majority believe that because of the court order, he does not qualify to be in parliament. He is persona non grata. That's how Roxy Nelson Dafemekpo described him. But then Osahin Alexander Afenyomakin raised concerns about what was the treatment meted out to James GHToday. He says, we did not do that to James GHToday, and so the majority is treading on very dangerous grounds. They held a press conference afterwards to basically tell Ghanaians and the people of Pandai that Matthew Nyindam remains their MP. The order from the court they've described as very unconstitutional, and so that's been captured by the Daily Guide as well. And GHOne, others dragged to court for contempt. RNAQ, Richard Niama Kwe Foundation Food Banks open in Kumasi. Then there is the story of after staff blows 221,000 Ghana cedis on sports betting. Oh. Afro-Arab partners Chinese investors, and one of the young men doing wonderful in terms of business here, the CEO of Afro-Arab, they're partnering Chinese investors here as well. And so congratulations to Alhaji, Ambassador Osman there. Congratulations on that particular feat. So that's the Daily Guide for you. Right, so you can get copies of the papers from the newsstands to get details of your favorite story there. But then this is still GHToday here on GH1 Television. I'm Joshua Kodjo Mensah. I'll be right back. On the show, it's time to check out Inside Out. And in Inside Out, we are going to Parliament because yesterday there was some level of drama in Parliament. I'll do, don't do. You don't belong here. I belong here. You are persona non grata. Is this what we did to you? Plenty. As captured by some of the newspapers. Ibrahim Al-Hassan is here to give us details on that. Ibrahim, so persona non grata.
Yes.
That was the declaration made by Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo.
Yes, it. Now, yesterday on this platform, we engaged Matthew Nyindam, who, through his lawyers, had filed an appeal and then also stay of execution against the High Court judgment that ordered the EC to rerun parliamentary elections in the Pandai constituency within the next 30 days. And so yesterday when we went to Parliament, the minority leader Kwame Afenyomarkin actually preempted what eventually unfolded on the floor. He engaged the media and of course he had issues with the judgment, described it as flawed, right? In fact, he said it's another animal farm judgment. I'm quoting him, right? And then goes further to even question why the judge could not make his judgment readily available after such a monumental judgment, but asked all of us to wait till tomorrow, which is Friday, before making that judgment public. Now, with all that said, he indicated that the minority and then the MP in question will exhaust all legal processes in ensuring that he remains the validly elected member of parliament for Pandai. And the question was that any attempt to physically remove him from the chamber will be resisted, right? And this was before the episode unfolded. When Alexander Kwame Afenyomarkin was addressing us, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo was lurking around. He was there monitoring what was happening. In fact, some minority MPs even went to ask him, what are you doing here? Go and watch it on TV. Specifically, Habib Idrisu.
Yeah.
And so when they all returned to the chamber, it was then the turn of Matthew Nyindam to debate the 2026 budget. Immediately, Speaker mentioned his name. In fact, it was the second deputy speaker who was in the chair, Andrew Esiama, mentioned his name. Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo sprang up to his feet. No, his seat is vacant. He's no longer a member of parliament. He ought not to be in the chamber, right? And he referenced GHToday, that when GHToday equally had his elections annulled, and then the EC directed to go and conduct a by-election, the argument was that he ceased to be a member of parliament, right? Now, the counter-argument is that in GHTokay's case, there were consequential orders from the court, that his name be even deleted from records of parliament. You cannot say same about that of Matthew Nyindam. But after back and forth, Speaker then sent a communication to his deputy. And the message was simple. Seize and freeze everything that's happening. Don't make a determination on this application that has been placed before you. When I come, I'll give directives as to the way forward. Not just that, even the debate on the budget, freeze it. So two things. First of all, don't make a pronouncement on the application from Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo. And then on the back of that, freeze the debate. Don't, because if, for instance, I ask you to continue with the debate, you are likely to say that Martin Indians should sit down, another person should debate. It means that you've denied him the opportunity to debate. And that's how the story will have carried. The media will have carried that story, right? So now freeze everything. That was done. Immediately that was done, Andrew Esiama had to vacate the seat for Bernard Ahiafo, the first deputy speaker, to take over. When he came, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo directed him again to the debate, the budget debate. And he said, oh, wow, what's up? I witnessed what happened. I'm aware of the directive that was, yes, so therefore we are not going back to the budget debate. And that's how Parliament ended proceedings yesterday. Today, we expect the Speaker himself in the chamber and in the seat. The budget debate is coming to an end today. So both leaders are expected to have their bite today. If Speaker gives his judgment today, I'm saying if because you remember a number of applications that were done to the Speaker. One had got to do with the contempt charges against the minority leader, and one other. The Speaker announced that he will give his judgment the following day. The judgment never came, right? And so, if the Speaker decides to give his judgment, and the judgment is in favor of Martin Yindam debating, today we'll hear him. But of course, what has happened at the court has happened. The appellate processes have been triggered. That will have to come with orders from the court, because the Roxanne Nelson Dafem Court's argument is that when you apply for a stay, it doesn't automatically kick in. It will have to be determined. So a court will have to grant that stay before it kicks in. So to him, and per his legal knowledge, as it stands now, Matthew Yindam is no longer a member of parliament.
Persona non grata.
Yes. Quite interesting.
Very, very interesting. Yeah. Well, we'll see how all of that pans out today, especially because Speaker himself will be in the seat today, and then we'll get to know what the fate of Matthew Yindam would be, per the Speaker's understanding of how things are panning out. Ibrahim, thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
And so that's it for Inside Out. We'll shortly begin the conversations with our guests. They can stay with us. So much for staying on with us here on GHToday on GH1 television. It's time to get into the breakfast review segment of the show, and my guest is already seated. He's no stranger to the sets and no stranger to the screens as well. He is a former presidential aspirant for the New Patriotic Party. In fact, he wanted to be flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, and he has a lot of expertise as well when it comes to the energy sector. Kodjo Nsafuapoku has joined me in studio. Kodjo, good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing well. I hope you're doing well as well.
I'm very well.
Fantastic.
Very well.
Nice to have you in the studio.
Well, nice to be here. Like I said, it looks like these days GH1 keeps pulling me in. I've not been in like so many years, and in less than a month I've been twice.
Wow.
So I think we are improving on the relationship.
Absolutely. A very healthy one as well.
Well, I hope so.
But how have you been?
I've been fine. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. You know, I'm backing Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for his bid. Good morning, sir, if you're watching this morning. He's in the Eastern region campaigning heavily to become the flag bearer. And I'm confident that the 31st general election, he will win. Not only win, but win with a landslide. So I've been helping with that. And then at the same time, I'm doing my own work, as I usually do. I know people keep saying that, now you're a politician. I said, no, I'm an entrepreneur who has a pastime in politics.
Right. So, so politics is pastime, rather?
Oh, yeah. Nobody, how can, association that you are part of, how can that be? Unless you're a parliamentarian, then that one, you're a full-time parliamentarian. That's politics full-time. But if you are just joining MPP or a member of NDC, you're only it's pastime hobby. So full-time is what now
brings food.
What put food on the table.
Absolutely. But how's the campaign going? How is the reaction to the message that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is putting out there?
Well, magnificent. Look, Doctor was the leader of the party about 12 months ago, right? We campaign across the country heavily. 276 constituencies. He's visited every one of them. And I think he went around and did a thank you tour. So people have been meeting him and have been listening to him. And he has the best message among the five. I think his message of welfare, to stop that thing where people campaign for the party to come into power and they are left behind. If you have a database of all the people and what they need. We keep thinking that everybody wants a job. We keep thinking everybody wants scholarship. We keep thinking people have diverse needs. And if you have a database of these needs, then you can direct it as and when it comes about.
Right. Well, we'll be talking more about that. But then I want us to start a conversation this morning regarding the press release that we saw last week, where the Energy Ministry gave hints of government's move to intervene in Springfield's operations because we are told the company is struggling. I'm sure you also saw that.
Yes,
You've had cause to believe that, there are concerns to be raised here.
Well, look, I think that there are a couple of things I want to make before I even make my submission. One, I think that letter issued by the ministry should have been issued by Esploco, not the Ministry of...
Not the ministry?
No, because it gave the wrong narrative. Look, the acquisition, and let's put it on record, government of Ghana is not going to pay a penny, right? It's not going to pay a peswa to anybody. Government of Ghana, no, but when Atuforsen read his budget, did you hear anywhere in that budget that there was some allocation made for anybody? No, exactly. Government of Ghana, which is GOG, me and you, our money, right? Nobody's going to pay a peswa to any private company. The second thing is that people keep making this submission that, you give a block to somebody, if the person can't do it in 10 years, it comes back, so why intervene? A petroleum agreement, if you read the Petroleum Act 919, Section 14 tells you that a petroleum agreement is for 25 years, And the exploration period is for 7 years. But the actual petroleum agreement is for minimum of 25 years. And in most instances, the minister can extend it up to maybe 30 years and beyond if there's a discovery and there's a production.
Right.
So a lot of people are putting out a lot of untruth and misinformation in the public just to, I don't know what their intent is. But let me say this. You must be for one conversation or the other. There are two conversations out there. You remember when we found oil in 2007, first oil 2011. A lot of people said that at that time President Kufuor went for the 10% carried interest. When a company comes into Ghana to sign an agreement, in our law, the government, me and you, we only get 10% carried interest. So the person says, look, yes, this thing is for Ghana because I'm going to do the work and this resources is for Ghana. I'll give you 10% carried. It means that during the exploration period, that your 10%, you don't pay anything towards that 10%, but you have 10% equity in the block.
Right.
When there's a discovery, and it's a commercial discovery, the government has the option to increase that 10% to maybe 15%, right? But at that stage, when there is something called a cash call, which means that we carry you through the exploration period. You don't pay anything if the company spends, let's say, $1 billion. Your 10%, which would have been 10% of 1 billion, you have to pay towards the exploration. You don't do that. All the other partners will pay. You, your 10%, which the government of Ghana, through GMPC, does not pay anything during the exploration. After there's a discovery and there's to raise money for production, then there's a cash call on you to pay your part of the 10%, right? So then when there is a production, you get 10% of the oil. Or if you increase it to 15%, you get 15% of the oil. But there's a lot of conversation in Ghana that says that government is not being aggressive enough, right? There are oil blocks that are producing that we can get more, right? So if we are to get more, then we need to stake our head more. But the point is that if you believe that government should be more aggressive and government should get more from our oil, then the company that is drilling the oil cannot give you free percentages. You have to do what is called a commercial interest.
Okay.
So the extra percentages that you want to take, let's say government of Ghana wants to do 30%. Then it means that extra 20% that you want from your free 10%, it has to be commercial. It means that you have to pay for that 20%. It's not free, right? So then the point is, if government of Ghana, and most people have that thinking that, look, when the oil comes out, we should get more. Even with our extractives, with the mines, with the gold and all these things, a lot of people have the belief that it's our own, we should do more to get more. People think that there's free lunch. There's no free lunch. Nobody will come to Ghana, spend their money, and then you want more of the resources. No. If you want more of the resources,
then you have to
pay for the resources, right? So government of Ghana now set up a company called Esploco, GMPC Esploco. GMPC Esploco, their work is to do commercial activities.
Okay.
So it's a state-owned enterprise, right? Limited liability. If government feels that there is a block and they want to get more, like most Ghanaians are asking for, then that commercial activity, the 20% extra, is taken by Esploco, not GMPC.
Right.
GMPC only carries the 10%, which is what? The free carried interest for government. So we have a commercial entity called Esploco that takes extra interest, which is commercial. Now, if you look at the Springfield block, the Springfield block has government of Ghana, the usual 10%. Springfield has 85%. And Esploco has 5%. Now, okay? Now, they've done their reprocessing of data. They've shot seismic. They've drilled the well, the Afina one. And when they drilled the well, they made a discovery. When they made that discovery, they felt that the size of the discovery was very big, but it straddles with their ENI block because where they drilled was very close to the ENI block. And the data available to them suggested that it's the same structure, the same basin, and the oil in there is flowing between their block and the ENI block. That is where the unitization conversation came up. Our law clearly states that whenever there is a block that shares the same hydrocarbon, there is no point Company A going to find 1.5 billion to develop that field. Company B goes and find another 2 billion to develop that field. They are all drawing from the same oil. So it's like you have a gallon, right? The gallon has two outlets. But if you put a straw here and you put a straw here, it's the same gallon you are taking out of. So why not just have one entrance for the gallon and drill everything from there? That is why the law, the petroleum law, stipulates that when that situation arises, the two companies should unitize and do only just one production. ENI at the time said, look, they don't think there's enough information on the table for Springfield to talk about unitization, because unitization is more of a post exploration conversation than a conversation had during exploration. Okay. So E&I, Springfield should do more. Drill more wells, drill more appraisal, a lot more information. But at no point did E&I dispute that there was a potential, there was a hydrocarbon, there was a discovery, and it's substantial in the Springfield block. We went through arbitration ruled. The NDC government, led by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, came and said that, look, the letter, the unitization letter given by Honorable Amewu, he has revoked it, looking at the arbitration ruling, so everybody should go back to do their work. But then you realize that Springfield is the only indigenous Ghanaian company in our upstream. There's been only 3 Ghanaians who has ventured into our upstream. E.O. Usu, right, who started Cosmos, brought in Talo, myself, Kodjo, Gasop Oil, right? Then Kevin. Springfield, right? There are only 3 Ghanaians that have done that thing. Upstream. Like, the money I spent was not the money Kevin has spent. Springfield has spent close to over $200 million, and that's substantial, right? And for a Ghanaian, indigenous Ghanaian, to be able to raise that kind of money with his partners is huge, right? But he's gotten to the point where he has the block, he's doing what he's doing, nobody can fault that he has not performed his obligations. But the government of the day, which is His Land Germany, feel that, and it's not a feel, it's the truth. Our upstream production is dwindling, right? We are not bringing on more wells than we should. By now, Ghana should be around maybe 400,000 barrels a day. Currently, we peaked at about 180,000. We've come down to about 120,000, which is a joke, right? So if somebody feels that we need to increase, do a lot in our upstream, look at the bigger picture. Which blocks are low-hanging fruit? Government of Ghana feels that, look, Esploco is there. Esploco can bring in partners to increase the productions in some of these blocks that are, I would say, distress, if you want to use that word, right? Because Kevin has raised money, Springfield has raised money, they've done a lot, but they've gotten to the point where the rate of, or the pace at which they are doing the work is not to the liking of maybe the president. So it's like, look, is there a way you can get Esploco to look at increasing their 5% stake in the block?
Right.
So Esploco currently has 5%. The option is to see how they acquire more percentage, the 85% that Springfield has, take that and then basically raise money on the investment banks, private companies, and basically go. But in every case, you need to negotiate.
Okay.
Springfield, who is going to go into this conversation, need to know the value of their company. So the company went and did a valuation. And that's the valuation that a lot of civil societies have put out there doing all sorts of mischiefs. Look, one thing that civil society should know, and I'm a senior member of civil society, we are not political opposition parties. Civil society is for advocacy, right? You don't just go and object to things because, and a government money, and a buying sicker. No, but you know better.
But that's what you're seeing now.
That's what they're doing. Most civil societies are doing opposition but not advocacy. And I, Kodjo, who is a senior member again of MPP and led Dr. Bawumia's manifesto in energy, have said that we are not going to do politics with this. So it's not going to be an MPP NDC banter on whether there is a need to increase the pace at which that block is developed. Because
one of the situations or conversations that have also arisen from that is that the MPP made it so unfavorable to the foreign companies who are operating in the upstream sector.
No, look, let me tell you something. Maybe the president at the time should have taken a lot more central role. But look, if private companies are dealing in the upstream, why do you want government to now intervene? So it was really to let the process take its course. Look, there are two schools of thoughts. People feel that maybe, yes, we should have, MPP should have, the Nanado government should have come in more heavily and settled it. But there's another school of thought that, look, it's a private area, let the discussion take its course. And that was what happened. It wasn't making the area unfavorable. Yes,
because the site ExxonMobil.
Well, I agree to that. There's a lot of things that happened in the last 8 years that I, Kodjo Poku, as a member of civil society, we're not happy with, right? The ACA situation, right? I think ACA came in and disrupted that area. The PA, the petroleum agreement that we passed for ACA, basically is different from everybody's petroleum agreement. And I thought, why is that, right? And that was wrong. ACA should have been put to a much stricter, and if they are going to be giving certain things, all the other parties should be giving the same. So yes, ACA situation I was not happy with. Even when ACA wanted to now give up those 2 blocks to sell to government,
yes,
I led with the civil society in objecting that acquisition. But a lot of people try to make a comparison between the ACA process and the Springfield process. Look, ACA was trying to sell 2 blocks to the government. One block was the AGM block, which had a discovery, but that discovery is at 3,000 meters. One block, which is the Pecan block, has a discovery, and that one, nobody has a problem with that block, because we felt that there's a discovery, all they need is a plan of development, and if Esploco wanted to acquire that block, it was a good idea for Esploco to acquire that block,
yes,
but not the AGM block, because the current technology that exists for extracting oil is in South America used by used by Shell. And they are only extracting at 2,900 meters. And that extra 100 meters is quite substantive, right? So government had no business through Esploco acquiring the AGM block, but government has every opportunity to acquire the Pecan block, which is now Look Oil, AFC, and I think that with Look Oil, with all the oil sanctions around the world, if Look Oil is leaving, Esploco again should look at the Look Oil shares, right? So in total, nobody is against. We need to fast track most of these developments.
Right.
If government feels that it can use Esploco to do that, and Esploco has the resources to find the money to pay for the shares of Springfield, why not? But let everybody be assured that it's not going to be Ministry of Finance signing a check to Springfield. Esploco is a limited liability company. They will find their own money. But the first things first, the minister have said that we need an independent transaction advisor. He will look at the block, he will look at all the details around it, give a fair value. Based on the fair value, Springfield has done their own internal evaluation, right? So they know what they want. That's negotiation. A good negotiation, nobody walks away with what they want, right? So Springfield will walk away with something they don't want. Esploco will walk away with something they don't want. But an agreement will be reached so that Esploco will get more shares and find partners and money to develop that block. And the people of Ghana who wants government to do more, to get more in our oil field, will be very happy.
And that's why you have a problem with the fact that this statement is coming from the ministry, not Esploco.
No, I'm saying that, you see, if an acquisition is to be made and the parent company does the announcement, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's because of the misinterpretation that the narrative that has followed that release. Hindsight, I'm thinking that if Esploco did it, people will have understood it better than Esploco. It's like Cocoa Board going to acquire, or GHOne going to acquire something. GHOne is 100% government owned, right? But if GHOne is to acquire something and the ministry issues the release, people will now start thinking, hold on. But if GHOne issued that release, nobody is going to feel that it's government. So I'm saying that since Esploco is a state-owned enterprise, like all the other state-owned enterprises, they should have issued the release. Hindsight, because it has created the forum for these and civil society people who, my colleagues, I should say, who just basically are putting misinformation out there. And it's unnecessary.
Especially because, like you said, the budget, we didn't see any allocation being made.
No. It's got nothing to do with central money. It's got nothing to do with Ministry of Finance. Look, when Esploco negotiates with Springfield, right, and they are able to arrive at a number, whatever that number is, then Esploco will now decide, okay, I have agreed to buy extra shares in Springfield for, let's say, $400 or $500 million. How do I find the money? Then it's up to Esploco how they find money. When we wanted to buy the 7% share from Anadako, the Talo block, right, 7%, it was valued at $160 million. At that time, GMPC didn't have the money. And to find the money, they went to the Minister of Finance, can you lend us $160 million? The Minister of Finance said, okay, I'll lend you the money, but on one condition. That share, the receipts from the 7% of the producer block that you are taking will be in an escrow account. I will take my money first before you get any access to the money. So the account was opened in London, okay? And then that money sits in there. Ministry of Finance have taken away their $160 million. And the rest of the money being accrued to that account is now for Esploco to use. So it's a good thing. There is nothing wrong with people just not understanding that whole thing of whether we should be able to venture into that arena. But like I said, it's two schools of thought. One person feels that, no, in the 8 years of Nanado, you never heard about Esploco because he felt that Ghanaians' money should not go into that conversation, right? But the Esploco conversation was started by Alex Mode under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's first term, right? So you believe that there are people who believe that if Ghanaians are saying that we should venture more into the commercial area, why not? And there are people who think that, no, don't do it. Let Ghanaians just stick to the 10%. The conversation in the marketplace, in the office, will continue for a very long time. But there is a need. Nobody can deny that there is a need to hasten the pace of how we bring a lot of blocks upstream.
Well, Kodjo, thank you. We've also been joined in studio this morning by the Member of Parliament for Bongo, Charles Bawadwa. Last week I didn't get his name correctly, and so this week
you went and rehearsed.
I had to make sure that I got it right. Charles, welcome.
Thank you very much.
I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah,
fantastic.
We thank God for giving us yet another day.
Absolutely.
Let me say good morning to all your viewers.
And the good people of Bongo.
Yeah,
sure, definitely.
They are
also
I always laugh at it when MPs sit and they say, I want to say good morning to the good people of
the good people of
I think there are some bad people. So the greeting is for only the good people.
The bad ones are
It is collective. All of them are good people.
Right.
So all the good people.
The good people. But when you say the good people, it means you are excluding the bad
people.
People who don't support you.
But how's the constituency doing?
Yeah, the constituency is fine.
Right.
Currently, it's a festive season.
Okay.
You know, the harvests have just been done, and there's a lot to eat.
Nice one.
And so, for a lot of festivities are going on.
Right.
Funerals at this time of the year start to speak. Churches have harvests. Youth groups have games and all that. So. It's all active in the constituency.
Absolutely. So before you joined us, we were talking about the decision or the plans that was announced by the Energy Ministry to basically look into Springfield and government's intervention in that area. And Kodjo made a point that, well, he's not against it, but then we should be very explicit in terms of placing the matter where it actually belongs, so that there is no misconceptions around it. He believes that yes, we need to get more from our oil fields, and yes, we need to put in the investment to be able to drive that which we seek from the oil fields. But what's your thoughts on that?
Well, thank you. I think that this matter, there shouldn't be much argument over this matter. What is clear is that Springfield is in distress.
Yeah.
They are suffering, and where it's leading to, they will need assistance. Now, there's also no doubt that the government has an interest in the performance of Springfield. Its survival or otherwise will impact on the energy needs of this country. And so the energy minister have spoken clearly what the position of government is in this matter. And the government is, of course, interested. But it will depend on an independent evaluation of what the situation really is before government can commit public funds to it. So I think that should settle the matter. And it is clear that petroleum output is running low in other fields. And if the government takes an interest in the survival of Springfields to ensure that we augment our petroleum production, I think it should be a move in the right direction.
Right.
I think the processes and procedures are what people are questioning, but the totality of the interests of the people of Ghana is what should be upheld.
Right. It seems we both, you both agree that yes, we should look at
Except that that's small word, public funds. I think there will be no, the Esploco can raise the money.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be public
funds.
You know, that is where the conversation comes a bit. When you say public funds, people tend to think that you're going to go to the exchequer to get funds, which is money that, but...
And the budget has been read. But we didn't hear anything.
But the thing is that you don't need... Exactly. You see, you can qualify public funds in so many ways, right? But the assurance that I always want to give is that it's not that people are going to go to Ministry of Finance to get money. Esploco can raise the money. There are other people, there are other people that probably interested in the block, but might not want to have a discussion with Springfield. But we'll be happy to have a discussion with Esploco. With Esploco, right? Yes. So GMPC Esploco has partners. They are in partnership with other people in other blocks, so they can bring on board the investment. So I think that's the way that we need to look at it.
Public funds.
The public funds needs to be in quotes.
In quotes, absolutely. But since you're in Parliament, and yesterday we saw the drama in Parliament regarding Matthew Nyindam, the Pandai MP, and of course the High Court gave a ruling. He's challenging that, he's appealing that, but your side has declared him persona non grata. We know that yes, Speaker will sit on the matter today, but I mean, why are you against him being in Parliament to represent his people and also contribute to national discourse on the 2026 budget?
Yeah. So first of all, let me say that I was in Parliament, but I was not in the chamber because I was attending a committee meeting to approve the budget for Ministry of Works and Housing. Right. But you see, I followed what happened. You know, the High Court has delivered a decision regarding the electoral success or otherwise of Matthew Nyindam. And the High Court says that, look, he was not properly elected to represent the people of Pandai and has ordered a rerun of the elections within 30 days. So the effect is that the seat is vacant. No question about that. Now, the argument by Matthew Nyindam to the effect that he has filed an appeal
and a stay of execution.
An application for a stay of execution. First of all, let's deal with the appeal. Appeal, we all know, does not automatically stay execution. So the fact that he has filed an appeal is a non-starter. That is not enough to keep him in his seat whilst the appeal is being heard. Now, the most serious argument is that of the stay of execution. Now, our authorities are now varied. That some to the effect that a stay of execution application automatically stays, others to the effect that it does not. So you will see that the NDC caucus taking the position that it does not, whereas the other side think that it does. So this is the argument on the floor of Parliament. And I'm happy that the Speaker of Parliament, experienced as he is, he has been in this practice law for many years, been in Parliament for many years, presided over the chamber for many years. He has the requisite experience and knowledge to deal with this situation. So I believe that he will come with a position that is just and fair to the parties and the process as well.
Okay. Kodjo.
Yeah, look, my brother is a lawyer, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, in law, you guys are aware that when there is a stay of execution, one main consideration is looked at. If the process is allowed to go ahead, will the person who is applying for the stay suffer irreparable damage? Right? That's one of the main considerations. So, well, you are shaking your head, but you know that when, let's say, I filed an appeal, and appeal is to be heard. A high court have said that there should be an election in 30 days. If the election is held in 30 days while the appeal is being heard, right? If I lose, if the election goes ahead and I lose, I have suffered an irreparable damage, right? What if the now appeal, and what if I win the appeal, right? So that is why when you file a stay of execution, the court will look at that if you allow that 30 days election to go ahead, you would have suffered an irreparable damage. So by all count and imagination, that stay of execution will be held pending the appeal being heard. Because if a judge who the petition in front of him was for 41 polling stations,
yes,
did not stake his ruling to the 41 polling stations, but to the 111 polling stations that had no problem, he went and annulled all that. Is that fair? Secondly, the administrative errors was only on 3 polling stations. The pink sheets where he found administrative error was on only 3 polling stations. He didn't restrict his ruling. Again, he did not even give his written ruling.
He says tomorrow.
What's the point? What was he in a hurry to go and do? You are giving such a momentous ruling that affects. Look at what happened in Parliament yesterday, right? Your ruling is affecting the order of work, and everybody we are sitting here discussing it. It affects the nation because it is a matter of what? Parliamentary procedure. Like today, we have to have the Honorable Babin to sit on it, and it's creating a problem. But you didn't have time to come and read the ruling. You just want to give a one line and go away. And if today, let's say tomorrow, you come and say that, oh, no, I meant that the rerun should be on only 41 polling stations. You've wasted 3 days of our time discussing what? So for me, I thought it was unnecessary for him to just come and give a one line and go away. What was that for? It was such an important ruling that he should have taken time out to read out his ruling and make so that everybody is clear in their mind what is happening. The issue at stake today is that we don't even know that it is for 41, the ruling that he gave is for 41 constituencies or the entire. But look, when we went to the Supreme Court have clearly stated that elections happen at the polling stations. Elections do not happen at coalition centers. So you cannot use events at a coalition center to annul results. Because was there a dispute at the polling station? No. Only 2 people. There were disputes in only 2 pink sheets, 1 MPP and 1 NDC. 2 disputes. So out of the 152 polling stations, 150 polling stations had no dispute. So if you now even feel that in presenting pink sheets to you in the court, only 3 had some clerical errors, right? That is not enough for you to now nullify the entire polling constituency. That's where the problem is. And that is why the MPP side is very confident that when we go to appeal, the appeal will rule against it. Because it's the most shambolic ruling I've ever seen. Where you go beyond what is petitioned before you. Nobody, the NDC didn't come to court on the 111 polling stations. They did not. It was never mentioned in court because they are happy with that. You decide that on your own. Maybe not. We'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
You extended your reach into areas that is not before the court. So look, let's wait till tomorrow. But clearly, we know that there will be a speedy process to stay the execution, and then the appeal. I'm sure the appeal court will look at it and favorably rule that the High Court judge erred in his submission.
Well, were you surprised at the turnout of events when Matthew Nyindam went to Parliament yesterday?
Oh, yeah, the Parliament is a theatre. I'm somebody that for a very early age, when I was in the UK, I loved to watch. These theatre comes from the UK, Prime Minister question time and all that, right? So Parliament is a theatre. So there, yes, they are there to do rules, but there's also theatrics when it comes to it. Everybody wants to have one on you. So yes, if the shoes was on the other foot, they would do the same, right?
But Afenyo Makin was in the minority that raised the concern that, well, when they were majority, they didn't do same to GHToday, and so they don't understand why this time around is.
Well, I'm saying that I'm not saying they did same, but I'm just saying that if the shoe was on the other foot,
perhaps.
If, let's say, MPP was in a majority and similar ruling was given against an NDC and he comes to parliament, the MPP side will do same. Let's not, they'll do same, right?
Right.
Because the point is that one of the things that the parliamentary chamber is not scared of, it's not scarce of, there's no shortage of, is lawyers. I think almost more, even if I'm not scared, I'll say majority of your members have some sort of legal background in the chamber. So when it comes to legalities, and Afenyo Makin being no other, a very senior advocate for that matter, so they all know the law, but there's theater and there's a bit of theatrics also. So yes, it's all part of the, when you find out that my brother Roxin got up, and Roxin is also a lawyer, right? So exactly, so all these things are part of, but I think that is the judge that has caused this. Unnecessary delay in because yesterday they were to debate the budget and finish it today. You've wasted the whole of the time to debate.
Speaker directed that the freeze.
Exactly, but it's wasted. Time wasted today. Time will be wasted on this thing. I'm sure when the speaker comes, he will hear both sides, and we are going to hear it. But look, I just think that it's much ado about nothing. The most important thing is the stay of execution and the appeal. That I'm very confident that the High Court ruling will be reversed.
Okay.
Let me just say that you see, when you are considering an application for stay of execution, the consideration is not about irreparable damage. The consideration is whether or not there are special circumstances warranting the stay. That is the fundamental consideration. Irreparable damage comes in when you are dealing with injunction application and all that. But you see, in this scenario, Martin Nyandam has not yet produced an order from the court staying execution. It's an application. You may get it, you may not get it. So nothing prevents the other side from proceeding. That is the legal position.
Until the court
has specifically ordered granting the application.
Right.
So I think that, look, the applicant being Martin should quickly get the processes of getting the application heard through the registry of the court to ensure that a decision is quickly, made on the matter. That is what will resolve the brouhaha.
But you can't go to court. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you.
Yeah.
You can't go to court to also file that without the written ruling of the court.
No. So what is the basis for stay of execution?
Yeah, but I'm pointing out what does he take to the court?
You see,
the ruling of the court is not even available. So what does he take to the court?
That is why Martin should have waited.
Waited when?
Because you have a period within which to appeal. That period has not exhausted. A stay is not made in a vacuum.
Yes,
you make a stay. No, please. Let me make the point. You file a stay upon an appeal. You do not just go and file a stay when there is nothing pending.
What does he take to appeal?
So what reasons have you put in the appeal?
No, but my point is that
you see,
the judge.
Listen to me, please.
You see where I'm coming from.
No.
You see, come and give a ruling.
Mr. Boko,
4 days.
You
the guy
do not
go and appeal because he doesn't have the written
what
ruling.
the judge did.
Yes,
it's not unusual.
But
even the Court of Appeal. Even the Supreme Court.
What I'm saying to you is
delivers
judgment that the guy can appeal
and then deliver the reasons later.
Right.
That is normal. It is normal practice in our court. It is something that is done in every day.
So this case is not peculiar.
It is not peculiar. There's nothing peculiar about
Even though it involves the legitimacy of a member of parliament.
Exactly. Even
and
the apex court
conducted within
the apex court of this land, the Supreme Court, does that very often. There is nothing
involving
fundamentally wrong
person.
about what the judge did. You understand? You may not like his style, but there's nothing wrong about what the judge did. And what is important is that the judge did not give a long period by which he was going to release the reasoned decision of the court. You understand? So if I were Matthew, I would have waited to get the reasons of the court based upon which I will now appeal, my arguments, the grounds for appeal, will be based on the reasons contained in the judgment of the court. Then thereafter, you file an application for a stay.
And within the period, what would he be doing?
Yeah, within the period, the legal position is that the decision of the court is effective. Now he has gone to muddy the waters.
Now you see the mischief. So for the 4 days that you, the court, because he could have quickly the following day go to court and apply. Let's put it this way. If let's say he gave the ruling on Monday, right? Tuesday, if his lawyers got the written ruling on Monday, Tuesday he could have gone to court and file an appeal and a stay, right? But you denied him that by saying that you are waiting 4 days to give your written submission on Friday. So within, like you rightfully asked, within that 4 days, what does he do? He's a sitting member of parliament.
You see, let me make the
so it's mischief.
Look, let me tell you the legal position. The legal position is that even though the judgment of the court has effect, it cannot be executed until 7 days. So when a court delivers a judgment or a ruling, there's an automatic 7 days stay.
Until it's effected. So that means you guys were doing mischief in the house yesterday.
So no, wait.
You guys were doing
wait. Let me come.
From what he said, you guys were doing mischief
You see,
in the house.
It is execution. We are talking about a formal execution of it.
Yes,
it
but
does
that
not
means
take
that,
away the declaratory decision
but you are
of the
saying that
court.
it's not executed until
You
7
understand?
days. So that means
it
that
does not
he
take
was
away
allowed,
the
he should have
decision
been
of the
allowed
court.
to sit.
So is it the case that Roxanne erred by
Yes.
declaring persona non grata?
Roxanne did not err.
But you
Roxanne
just
is
said
saying that the court has declared him
Yes.
as a non-MP.
And so
he declared the seat vacant.
And so he said that then the Pandai MP did not have any business in Parliament.
But you are saying it's
He
7
cannot-
days.
he-
But
he
you
will
saying
not
7
have
days.
business in Parliament because there's a court declaration. He should not be acting in contempt of the court. But the other party, who is the applicant or the petitioner in that suit, cannot officially execute the judgment. But there's a court declaration.
But you are executing NDC.
You understand? NDC has not filed. No.
But
please,
NDC is a party.
There is a difference between.
You are executing. Your member of parliament is saying that he can't be here because there's a ruling.
Yeah.
But you are saying that the party cannot execute that until 7 days.
Yes.
So why are you now saying that he can't be in parliament?
I am saying that NDC is not executing the judgment.
No, in Roxanne's case, he's trying to execute a judgment.
No. Roxanne is saying that there is a court declaration.
Yes.
There's a process between ensuring that a court declaration is effected and a formal execution of the judgment.
Right. But the judge
formal
decided to take
execution
4 days
is
out
done
of the
by the
7
party
days.
who will file what we call an entry of judgment. All those processes have not
But
been effected.
isn't what Roxanne did the effect of the execution?
Exactly. No, what Roxanne did is saying that there's a declaration of the court.
For which reason he should not
And
be
if there's a
allowed
declaration
to
of the
debate.
court and Parliament is aware of that declaration, then Parliament should not encourage him to disobey a court.
My brother, can I ask a question? Is it 7 working days or 7 days? This thing you just said.
The law says 7 days.
So it doesn't say 7 working days.
No, it says 7 days.
Thank you. So you know the trade. Now you see the mischief. The judge comes in on Monday, says that I'll give my written on Friday,
Yes.
taking 4 days out of the 7 days away. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that 7 days has elapsed. Now you see the mischief. That's the mischief that you guys are doing.
So you
There's
believe
no
that this was
mischief in
deliberately
Yes,
done?
it's very deliberate.
No.
From what he says, it's very
There is no
deliberate
mischief in
because
this.
you see,
We have
if
seen
there is 7 days to
circumstances-
execute,
No.
and the guy said that I'll give my route on Friday. Why Friday?
We
4
have
days
seen-
out
we
of the
have
7
seen
days is
circum-
gone.
Look, even
Then
the
by the
Supreme
time
Court-
you go through Friday, Sunday,
The
by
Supreme Court
Monday,
in many
you
instances
you've
have
lost it.
even
Charles.
adjourned for more than a month, more than 2 months
Oh, my
to
brother.
deliver reasons. Even the Supreme Court does that. So there is nothing
No, but there is
unfair.
in this instance,
There is nothing
there is a
special
sitting MP.
about Mati.
All the things you are saying doesn't apply to a sitting
Let us
MP.
not position ourselves as though the judge was wrong. The judge
No, he was.
Because that's the position of the MPP.
In fact,
the minority leader,
but from the things you have said today, clearly there's a
the minority leader mentioned yesterday that, in fact, what the judge did was unconstitutional, and the fact that, in fact, he's waiting for the court to declare all minority MPs in contempt of the court. In fact, he says they are ready to go into Insawam.
Well, that's why it's up to them. When the court makes orders and you are prepared to violate them to go into
Brother,
someone.
yeah, from your own submission,
it's a matter.
you've not told us that there was a
I'm
mischief.
responding to the question. There's no mischief.
Oh, there was.
So it is a
There is
decision
mischief.
for the minority to make whether they want to act in violation, in contempt of court, or they want to be lawful and act in abiding the decision of the courts of Ghana. That's a decision for them. So I will not comment much about that. When we get to that point,
Right.
we will cross it.
So you hold the position that Matthew Nyendam representing the pool of Bandai in Parliament is in breach of the the order that the court gave. For which reason, the majority's position is that he should stay out of parliamentary business for now.
The majority's position is that Parliament is aware.
Parliament is not aware. Parliament is not aware.
Please.
No, you're a lawyer. Please.
Parliament
is not aware. Let me tell you how Parliament is aware.
Right.
Parliament don't take things from the media.
Somebody
has to. You see, there has to be a. You remember the case that came in where there was a letter sent to the speaker to vacate somebody's seat.
Yes.
You remember? How does things get to the floor of Parliament? How does things get to Parliament?
So
you
Parliament
have
has
to now
to
communicate. You have to
officially
communicate
notified.
it to the Parliament.
Yes.
You speaker cannot just act in vacuum.
Right.
Something has to be communicated to the speaker. We've heard that. You are saying that communication cannot be done until after 7 days. You understand? So now you see where the mischief is.
But he says that indeed Parliament is aware. So
no, Parliament is not officially.
Roxanne mentioned as well
it's not.
that Parliament has been made aware of that.
No, he's not. From what he's saying, we are all aware.
Right.
Roxanne, how did Parliament become aware?
Perhaps he has the answer to that.
How did Parliament become aware? Let him answer. How did Parliament become aware?
Mr. Voku, you do not work in
how
Parliament.
did Parliament become aware? Educate
do
us.
not say.
How did Parliament become aware?
The process.
Let us.
Okay,
the process was served on Parliament. And there's a proof of service.
How did the process serve on Gabe? You just said 7 days.
Don't rush. You are just rushing.
But you are contradicting yourself.
No, please.
You are saying that it cannot be executed after 7 days.
Let him show us.
There is a difference between service and execution.
Right.
And let me tell you that it is a party who is directly affected by the judgment positively who is the NDC's candidate who will do the execution, not Parliament. Parliament has been notified by a service. There is proof of service to that effect.
Right.
On Parliament.
Who served
There's a
who
court,
served
the
Parliament?
belief of the court.
But you said the entry. You just said right here. Hold on. You said that entry of court.
You need to be patient.
I'll give you time to respond to this.
These are technical legal
Because
issues.
he
for
says-
us.
That's fine.
You
I'm
need to be
using your own
patient to
words.
understand.
You said even entry of judgment and
saying
all that
that
takes time.
He says the execution
No,
takes
he
7
said
days.
entry of judgment and everything takes time. He said it right here.
Right.
So, but what? In less than 2 days, when the judgment, listen to this, the court, the judge has not issued his written reason, but somebody has served you.
Parliament has been notified.
Has been notified how? You are saying that the entry takes time. Right. So when were you served? When was Parliament served?
You see, he does not understand.
Oh, my brother, me and Jai
there is an entry. There is a proof of service of the order of the court
on Parliament.
Right. You understand? So Parliament has been notified. That is different from the party who is victorious in those proceedings executing the judgment. So there are two different things. So
what's the
Parliament has been notified
difference?
by way of a service of the order on the parliamentary clerk to the effect that there's this decision, Parliament must obey. This is the argument.
Okay, what's the difference between
this
the
is the
two?
argument of the majority.
What's the difference
And the
of the two?
majority position is not out of
My good
place.
brother.
Parliament cannot be aware of order of a court and it goes against it.
What's
That's
the
why
difference
the
between
majority
the two?
took that position.
What's the difference between the two?
There is service.
Bro, what's the difference?
There is a proof of
what's the
service
difference
of
between
the
the
process of
execution by the victorious
So
party?
Parliament is not
Hold on.
taking
Bro.
this action based on media
My
report.
brother,
Right.
what's
Proof
the
of
difference
service
between
is on
There's
Parliament.
service
We
that has
have
been
it.
made on
We
Parliament.
have it.
What's the
And that's what
difference?
Roxanne Nelson.
What's the
exactly.
difference? What's the difference between the two? The execution by the victorious party and the service to Parliament to do what? What's the difference between the two? The person who is victorious cannot execute until after 7 days, as you rightfully said. But there's a service to Parliament to say that
Notifying Parliament.
Notifying Parliament. What's the difference? If a person who is victorious cannot execute it until after 7 days, the service to Parliament is to do what? To notify Parliament of a ruling. Yes, Parliament is being notified of a ruling, but it cannot be executed until 7 days. You rightfully said that. So what do you want Parliament to do?
Well, and I'm sure that's one of the reasons why the Speaker of the House mentioned that there should be a freeze on that conversation till today. When he takes over, then we get to know exactly what the way forward would be.
One of the things that everybody should know is that it's either you or me. You say you can ben wa o say idea ye ni we say. Me ma yen fa yen san mo wani ansa no say idea ya we say. You see, my brother sitting here is not a beneficiary of such. But tomorrow, he could be in the same position. That is why for me, Kodjo Poku, I always say that let fair be fair.
Right.
Because it might be your brother today. You say so let's not be hasty in some of these things. And we are setting a lot of bad precedents for our democracy. Very bad precedents for our democracy. We have a very fledgling democracy. It's very young. You know, 92 Constitution, 92 the 92 Constitution, the Fourth Republic. It's not that old. There are countries that have gone 200, 300 years, and even that. Look what Trump is doing to now shake the foundation of the U.S. democracy, right? But let's be guided on a lot of things that today, because you have the majority in Parliament, you are doing certain things. It could be you tomorrow because you are an MP. Let's not condone certain things, and that's my position on a lot of these things.
Right.
Because it's not fair. You are saying that a victorious party cannot execute until after 7 days. And there's a reason why the court said that. And you explained that the entry of judgment and all the clerical administrative process takes time, right? So it can only be affected after 7 days when you can take the judgment and go and execute it. But somebody has quickly mischievously served Parliament and want Parliament to act on it, when indeed the law is that the execution of that judgment cannot be until the 7 days.
Right.
Does that make sense? It doesn't.
Right.
Let me. I have the proof of service here.
Okay.
And I want to read it. It's very short. I want to be very quick about it.
Yes.
It says that the bailiff, one Solomon Ofosu, he says that
What day is that?
This is dated 21st day of November 2025.
21st day. What day was that?
And yes, 21st day of November 2025. You may check that. And he says that on the 25th day of November 2025, I was entrusted with an order of the court, Pandai, on the the constituency elections for service of the order on the Parliament of Ghana, that on the 25th day of November 2025 at 11:31 a.m., I duly served the above named document on the Clerk of Parliament at the Parliament of Ghana. Dated, so he puts the date there.
What date is that? What date is it?
It is here.
What date?
25th day of November 2020.
But you mentioned 21st.
No, that was an error. You see, it's not the way it's written. If you don't look very
25th.
carefully,
25th. That was on Tuesday.
you can see it.
Yes. So
Okay, yes.
the
You
day
can
of the
see it.
ruling or the day after the ruling?
So there is proof of service.
That was on Tuesday.
Yes.
So
So the
Parliament-
day after the ruling.
The
Yes.
argument by
The ruling came on Monday.
The argument by Mr. Poku to the effect that Parliament was acting on hearsay
No.
and media reports cannot be correct.
Okay,
So
that's
there's
Parliament,
proof of that.
Parliament
Proof of
is a
service.
place of record.
Okay, so
and will
the-
only act when it
Okay.
has
So
officially
can I ask a question?
received
So can I
the
ask a-
document.
So can I ask a question?
Right.
Now,
So can I
having
ask a
received
question?
that
Let him
document, Parliament
land.
has become aware. Now that Parliament has become aware, should Parliament act in violation of the order of the court? The position of the majority say no, Parliament must obey the court order.
Because Parliament has officially
Because
notified.
Parliament has been informed.
Okay.
Right.
And let me say that is different from the victorious party filing an entry of judgment to execute the terms of the judgment.
Right. Right.
So that is the position. These are legal terms that if you have not been
see,
involved in that, you will not
The
appreciate
ruling was
them.
on Monday
Yes, 24th.
in Tamale, right? The bailiffs clearly would have come from Tamale. There was a ruling on 24th. There was a bailiff in Tamale who managed to get to Accra on the 25th.
No. You see his mistake. Look.
What-
The fact is, no. Let me explain
Educate
something.
me, educate me.
You are getting. So let me educate you.
Thank
What
you.
happens is that when a judgment is
Of-
made out of Accra,
Out of Accra, yes.
you understand? Out of the region, you don't move a bailiff from that region to
So
come to Accra.
Solomon, this Bailey Solomon
Yes,
did not
it's in
come.
Accra.
Did not
Accra
come
High
from.
Court. No.
Right.
Okay.
They register their rights, sends the letter to the registrar of the Accra High Court, who chooses a bailiff in Accra to do the service, and they report back
To the
to
Tamale.
the region
And all,
affected.
and
that
all,
this
and all
has
that
been
was
affected.
done in
There's nothing
in
wrong
the
with
shortest
that.
possible time.
What is wrong
when
with
I
that?
have a case that's gone 4 years and for 3 weeks the registrar couldn't give me a date.
And you see,
the registrar couldn't give me a date for 3 weeks. My case have gone 5
you
years.
see,
But
you know,
this
that
is
is
not
not
the
the same as
Last
getting
week,
the date.
he mentioned a similar situation that
I raised the
his
same
case
issue.
has been in court for like 4 years.
Thank you.
And-
But in this particular case, a case was ruled on Monday. Somebody sent it. It was quickly sent to Parliament. Meanwhile, the victorious party cannot execute after 7 days.
You see, sometimes it will depend on you, the parties involved.
Let's stop there.
You understand?
Let's stop this.
The most important cases delay is something that we are all concerned about.
Well, that's fine. But the point is that the registrar,
the last time that I was in this
so swiftly,
I was very clear in my mind that cases delaying in court defeat justice. And we must do everything possible
to expedite this.
Yes, to expedite.
And the registrar
who
have expeditely.
So if I were Martin, having filed this application, he should quickly get it set down for.
He can't. How can he do that? He can't file it.
You understand? Why
he
can't he
file it? Because the judgment is not out until Friday.
Well, the good news is that Speaker will make a determination today.
But Speaker is handicapped. Let me tell you why Speaker is handicapped. Listen, look, Speaker is handicapped.
How?
How is Speaker handicapped?
So let me explain. What is the Speaker going to rule on? He's going to rule whether, he's going to rule whether Martin
Yindam can be a part of,
can be part of, or can still sit.
Yes.
Pending the outcome of the
appeal.
The appeal, right? The majority side is of the view. Now, when Speaker rules, and you can educate me here, if Speaker gives a ruling, and the House is not, the majority side, which is the leader of government business, is not happy, does it get subject to a vote? Or that one is final?
No. You don't
when Speaker rules is final.
When the Speaker rules is final. And let me say that there have been many instances that the Speaker has ruled against the majority. It is not unusual. I remember one classic case at the beginning of this year when we were debating the 2025 budget. Look, the position of the majority was that, look, we are 180 something. You are just 80 something, right? So instead of we having the debate equally, like the majority takes one, then you also respond. It is creating injustice for the majority because we are unable to get enough numbers to do the debate because of the big number that we have. So we were of the opinion that, look, given that we are about 2/3 of what you have, we will have 2 here on the majority and then 1 on the minority side. That alone took more than 3 hours of debate. The Speaker had to come in and rule that is not parliamentary practice in favor of the minority. So, as for Speaker, and especially this Speaker as I know him, he says it's as it is.
Okay, let's not preempt his ruling.
So
I take back my position that he's handicapped.
I think it is too
Let's see what he does later
at this moment to attempt to preempt the decision of the Speaker.
No,
I know Speaker
we'll wait.
He's not influenced by political leanings.
I take it back.
Yes.
You understand?
Absolutely.
He will say it based on his knowledge of the law, his experience that he has had in the field. And I'm sure that the outcome of the decision will guide all of us.
Absolutely.
The good thing about that, he does these things in a reasoned manner. He will give reasons for his decision.
And we'll wait for that. We'll wait for that and get to know exactly what the fate of Matthew Yindam in Parliament would be pending his appeal. But while we are having that conversation as well, another very topical issue that we've had to deal with this week is religion and education coming head on because some Muslim students of Wesley Girls, concerns were raised about place of worship, prayer, and all of that. And I think year on, we keep getting these instances come up. We keep having the conversations. And I remember at a point that there's one MP who said that government needs to come clear on its position on the matter because it looks like the education minister says this is where we are going to go. And some way, somehow, we have the religious bodies also joining the fray and also supporting the cause of the decision that the school took. Kodjo, I don't know how all of that.
Well, you see, let's go back to when we were in school, right? I went to a Catholic school, Opokwari.
Right.
For a long time, if you are not a Catholic, some Catholic schools were not taking you in, right? There was a reason for that. And T.I. Media is a Muslim school. And for most times, T.I. Media, if you were not a Muslim, they were not taking you in. Why is that? Because of this situation. It took some time for the administration of Opokwari to allow Protestants. So if you are not a Catholic, then you are classified as Protestants, and they now allow the Protestant worship in the school. So when we went, I'm a Catholic, so I go to Catholic service. Then on Sundays, only on Sundays that the school will allow Protestant service. But all other days, morning mass, evening mass, everybody goes. right? Whether you're a Protestant or not, you go to morning mass. You're a Protestant or not, you go to evening mass. But on Sundays, you are allowed to go to your Protestant worship, and then the Catholics go to their morning mass. And that's how some of the schools, because of this particular issue, now we've integrated and we feel like there isn't a reason why that separation should be there and all that. And with our way of forward thinking, right, we've gotten to where we are today, where Muslims are now in Christian schools and Christians are now in Muslim schools. I think we should be minded of the approach. I am of the view that if you are going into a school, the school should have its set norm and regulations. You were given a prospectus before you went into the school, and you either agree or don't go to the school. So I think it should be very clear. Schools that have their prospectus and their regulations in all aspects. If they allow for Muslim worships, they don't allow for Muslim worships, then as a Muslim, you would decide whether you want to go to the school or not. But it's very delicate, especially in the times we find ourselves. Right? So I think there should, instead of we doing it as a broader, a sideline conversation, it should be done in a broader conversation. The school governing boards with the Ghana Education Service should really take this thing very serious. Whether we go back to the old days where Catholic schools were basically, because the school governing boards should be able to make a decision. If we take that away from them, it becomes a problem because what they deal with in the school, we have no idea. And the disruption, if you now start allowing different faiths in schools, there are a lot of faiths, right? And in school, there should be order. In school, there should be uniformity. That's the only way secondary schools survive. When we went to school, there wasn't that many of us. Our batch were 250. Today, a batch is more than 1,000.
Yes.
Right? Just one batch. So what the school authorities are dealing with is everybody bringing Akwarapa, Akwaboni, everybody in one pot. And somebody has to now what? Be the leader of that herd. There should be uniformity. There should be set principles. There should be set regulations for everybody to follow. You can't get in and start fighting for certain rights. I just think that the governing boards of the schools and Ghana Education Service should
they have work to do.
No, they have to. But you see, you have to set it. We have to lay it down. If we don't lay those down, let the parents decide. You understand? Because it's a choice. If you decide that you are going to let your kids go into a Christian school but you're a Muslim, and you know the lay down procedure of the school, then you waive that right. Then it's fine. But don't get in and start fighting the school. Because if the schools don't have ways of, and I think there's ever been Ramadan, there's ever been Muslims, how come these things are coming up now? How was it handled in the past? Were there ever Muslims in Christian schools? How did they comport themselves? Why are we having that issue now? The issue of the Rastafarian, right? That goes to Achimota, and the court has to rule that their hair was on faith grounds. That's fine. But people now start talking about where we should have our young girls keep long hair and stuff like that. Hell no, 100% no. Because the hair conversation is not a boy conversation. The hair conversation is a girl conversation, right? How many boys do you don't want to have long hair? We all don't care about our hair in school, right? Boys, young boys, what do they care about their hair? But it's ladies, it's girls that care about their hair. So if we now start stopping the uniformity and creating that disparity, it becomes a problem. And for me, I think the governing board and Ghana Education Service should really take this thing serious because we forever, how many years has it been that people have been going to school? Is it the first time that Muslims are going to Christian schools? No. How was it that we never heard about these things, but we are hearing about now? Because I know my right to know is becoming too much. Seriously.
Yeah, because I remember my days in Presec. Yes, it's a Presbyterian school. But then there was a place where the Muslim boys would go and worship. And so we would all come for assembly, but when it's time for service, they go to their mosque and handle their business there. Then we all go to... I don't know how that sits with you, Charles.
This is a very delicate issue. And it appears that Mr. Poku's educational school, secondary school history is coterminous with mine.
Okay.
I also attended a purely Catholic secondary school, Notre Dame Secondary School in Abrongo. Purely Catholic. We did everything Catholic. Daily Mass was compulsory for everybody. Sunday Mass was compulsory for everybody. Rosary, every significant prayer in the Catholic calendar was compulsory for everybody.
Regardless of your faith.
And during my time, there were 2 Muslim students. They took part in all this. They took part.
They did the Hail Marys.
They did the Hail Mary. They did everything and came out. And I noticed after they came out, because I know them personally, they maintained their Muslim faith. You see? So those days, these things did not arise. And they did not arise also because I think there was more understanding, or maybe the knowledge of constitutional rights, and the desire to exercise and enjoy those rights as constitutionally provided was not as high as we have it today. Because this issue touches on the provisions in the Constitution of Ghana, particularly Articles 21, Article 17, and Article 26. Your right to exercise and enjoy the religion of your faith, of whatever choose. You understand? Now, the question is, to what extent can you enjoy this right? In the Constitution, it's provided that your right will end, or it should not affect the enjoyment of the right of others. But that is a very narrow, provision. It doesn't tell us what that means. That is where we need the Supreme Court. And I am particularly happy that this matter is before the court. And I'm sure that the court should provide us the guidance that we need, because religious issues can cause us trouble. It can bring chaos. You see what is happening in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Somehow in this country, we have managed to hold this, and we are living together peacefully. Muslims living in the places, then in front of it is a mosque. Then where you have a Muslim community, in the middle of it is a church. And there's no problem. We have managed that. But if we don't handle these issues well, and these things linger on, we may one day get to a situation that we cannot manage. So I want the Supreme Court to give us a guided and reasoned decision on this matter, so that moving forward, we can go on. There is no doubt whatsoever that every human being decides which religion he wants to, belong to and worship. The same goes for institutions. Secondary schools and other institutions have a right, to perform and act in a manner as related to a particular religious organization.
Right.
How do you mix this? How do you manage this conflict in interest, conflict in the desire to exercise and enjoy these rights? That is where we need to look at. And I am thinking that the decision of the Supreme Court should resolve this matter once and for all. And we should not politicize it. And I'm happy that, so far, even though certain individuals have made political comments of it, it has largely been that of a public interest issue. And I think that the Supreme Court will give us that.
Because, one of the things I've heard is that if T.I. Amas is offering a cause and they're very good at that, that's what I want to do, and I'm a Christian, why should my religion bar me from pursuing what I want? If PRESEC is good in science and I'm a Muslim, and I really feel that this is where I can get equipped Why should my religion be a barrier when it comes to exercising it freely when I get to the circumference?
You know, there's a, you know, there's
especially so when those schools are now enjoying public funds.
Well, bro, that's fine, but you see, you know, there is a statement that also says that your liberty ends where your nose ends, right? And that is just to take it a bit more literally.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that, look, we have liberties, but as Honorable pointed out, liberties are to be guided and should not interrupt or interfere with other people's also their liberties. So there should be a check and balance on your liberties. If you want to do a course in TR Media, that's what I'm saying, the prospectus and the regulations of the school should be laid down. If you want to go to TR Media and they tell you what their process is, you either accept or don't accept. Like my brother rightfully said, Notre Dame had strictly Catholic, even Opokuare before, but later they gave room for the Protestants to worship. But the Muslims, when they want to go to Notre Dame, it's a good school, so they went in there and did the Hail Marys and the Corpus Christi. So that's your thing, you understand? So look, rightfully so, the laws are dynamic. And I keep saying that Ghana is not going to expire, right? We live for another, Ghana is going to, if we all go and come back in 100 years, Ghana will still be here. What will be the Ghana that we find? That's me, my fear every day, right? 100 years from now, if we all go and come back and we are aware that we're back, what Ghana would we find? Is it a Ghana that we've basically done a lot to put in place to make sure that it's cohabitable? Or is it a Ghana that you come in and it is split into 20 where you can't even rear your head without somebody shooting a gun at you? And my brother is right that we've kept Ghana, right? A lot of countries envy Ghana because of the way we've kept it.
True.
When I keep telling people that we have a Muslim North, they're like, hey, but I say no, but our Muslim North is not like the other Muslim North. But you go past the Muslim North, the Dagatis in the Upper East and the Upper West are Christians, are Catholics, right? And that also checkmates that, oh, the North is not a predominantly Muslim area, because there are a lot of Christians in that area as well. But we need to be able to get the law interpreted in a way that we can also go another 60 years.
Right.
And the Gen Z, you know, there is this thing where the progressive thinking, I have a problem with progressive thinking. Progressive thinking has gotten America where it is. Progressive thinking has gotten the Europe where it is and all the other countries where they are. Because when you start going into the area of why not? Oh, why not? Okay, let's look at it. Oh, why not? Let's look at it. That is where now there are all sorts of things in this world. Where somebody will now say that even with pronouns now, you can, and some airlines, you get onto an airline and they are not only announcing he and she or ladies and gentlemen. They are taking ladies and gentlemen out of it because in the mysterious world of some people, there is other people aside ladies and gentlemen. You understand? That is because the progressive thinking. Why not? Okay, let's look at it. Why not? No. I am very conservative when it comes to those things. I think that we should stick to the principles that we have, our culture and certain things, stipulate certain things. And let's not move the bar in progressive thinking. Because the minute the youth, the new generations, the why not is too much. That is where the Americans are 40, 50 years from us, right? And we've seen what is happening there now. We've seen what is happening there. Where in some areas you go, there is like 3 different bathrooms, right? Male, female, and they. Huh? You understand? So if we are not careful, because you remember when they were doing the gender, is it the new law that was passed? Is it a gender?
LGTB.
No, the bill that was passed, the gender bill, the female affirmative action act. I am very particular how we use gender in those laws. Because you see, gender in the colloquial days meant male and female. Right? Today, in some jurisdictions, gender is not male and female.
Yeah.
So if we keep using gender in our laws, it only takes a certain ruling and you've now smuggled certain things into your laws. Because when we keep saying gender, I think that if the parliamentarians will listen to me, let's be very specific. Let's not say gender, let's say male and female. Because in other jurisdictions,
non-binary,
gender is not exactly gender is no longer male and female.
Yeah.
So the minute we keep using that broader term of gender in our law, is a way that one day something will be sneaked in.
Right. Right.
Well, I think that in our jurisdiction, gender still remains
Male
and female.
Legally.
Where, yes. Where in a provision a special meaning is intended to be assigned to a particular word, there will be an area for interpretation. And that will be interpreted therein. But I think also that, talking about the Affirmative Action Act, I think the object of that was largely to address inequalities in the Ghanaian society, where it is clear that in most public places, especially, you have the female sex lacking when it comes to the occupation and the involvement of women in those areas. So the whole idea was to, as it were, ensure that there is a minimum number of women, in public places. Mind you, if this is not done, we continue to have the situation where the women remain neglected. So that was the entire objective of the Affirmative Action Bill. But I think largely like this issue about the schools and the religious issue, it is important that we resolve it. Because even in some families, you have both Muslim the Christians.
Christians, yes.
The father can be Christian, the mother is Muslim, and the children are also divided. Some are Muslim. I have seen that several times.
Dr. Baumia instance.
Exactly. Yeah. I've seen that several times. So Ghana is not a country where we should have this as a conflict. And I believe that we can resolve it in a manner that everybody is comfortable and accepts the situation.
Right. Okay. So finally, the last topic we have to deal with, and a lot of people have been also talking about it. I remember when I saw the letter from the presidency to the IGP, I put it out there, and the reactions were quite interesting. We've seen write-ups from security analysts who believe that no, this should not be the case because there had been an indication that the tenure of other public officers would not be extended. IGP gets 2 years, we're told, as recommended by the Police Council and approved by the President. Kodjo.
When I was in a fix, he helped me once. When I was in a fix, I went to him and he helped me once.
The IGP, right?
Yeah, then he was the deputy. He wasn't IGP. He was
I believe that is not affecting your opinion on this. Right?
That's why I have to. That's why I have to put it out there. That no, I think that look, it's unfair on anybody that just gets a higher office like that to have it within that short period of time.
Okay.
Effectiveness, to be able to put his principles abroad, to basically make an impact on the service. Then we must have just not made him the IGP or just probably say acting or something. But if you confirmed him, how long has he been there? Less than a year.
Yeah, no, obviously less than a year.
Less than a year.
Yes.
And you wash him away in December and then bring somebody in 2026. I don't think it will be fair for certain continuity. He's been there for a long time. He's been there and at the background, and he's instrumental in quite a number of the things that has happened in the service. I think for just that level of impact and continuity, that 2 years, we didn't ask the presidency to issue a letter that there will be no more extensions. They did it themselves. So then the question of why do you put out a letter that there's no extensions and then give an extension? That is where the public debate is. Every time I've seen the letter for the discussion of the IGP, that green letter that says that there will be no more extensions comes with it, right? So that one is for the presidency to basically come out and give the reason why they think there's a special case that demands special dispensation. But for me, as a personal person that sits, I think that when the situation became vacant and I was president, and I was not going to keep him to stay for the 2 years that I thought he could be given, then I would not have given him the position, because it's counterproductive to have the leadership, especially when we are, as a president, you are in your initial years and you need to have a certain thinking going forward. And the minute you have disruptions in your first, because really and truly, we say 4 years, but it's not 4 years.
Yeah.
You only have maybe 2.5 years effective, right? And if your first year is wasted by moving around IGP, somebody else is going to come and all that. So, and bear in mind, by the time, the way the service is, by the time you get to the COPs and the Commissioner of Police, most of them are nearing retirement. So we might even move him, bring somebody else in, and that person in less than a year, 2 years is also retiring. So then, are we now putting them there just because of their age? Maybe somebody is very qualified, right? And you think that, this man can be a very good IGP looking at his track record, but looking at his age, if I put him in less than 1 year, he'll go for retirement, so let me not put him. So on those conversations, I just think that for impact and for continuity, yes, let the man stay for 2 years and be able to finish the things that he started. He knows he's going after 2 years. Let him make the service something that is memorable. The police service is getting better, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. One of the things that I don't like seeing in the police is the amount of police that stands around in the traffic and intersections. Doing what? And our police is not proactive. They basically stand and don't react. Right? I have seen an instance where I have to get out of my car to draw the police attention to something, but they will just sit and unabated, right? But that's not the kind of policing that we want. If somebody is doing something wrong, don't get me to draw your attention to it. Be more proactive in that. And those are some of the reforms that we want the 2 years that he has to bring in, so that the police are more mobile, discipline, you know what I mean? I have seen my fair share of life, right? I'm not old, but I'm not young either. And you see a young policeman that sees you and want to disrespect you just because he's in a uniform. For me, I think that discipline is very important. So, look, good luck to him. He's gotten the 2 years, and I think that next time when I'm in a fix, he'll help me.
Charles?
Well, I think that it's an interesting issue. Interesting because of the statement that earlier came out from the presidency, to the effect that they were no longer going to engage in the contract extension of public servants who had effectively retired. Otherwise, this would not have been an issue. You know, our laws, and especially the Constitution, has dealt with this matter. And it's very clear whether that can be done or not be done, and how it can be done and how many times. If you look at, I think, Article 199 of the Constitution, it's very short. Let me read it for purposes of public education. It says that a public officer shall, except as otherwise provided in this Constitution, retire from public service on attaining the age of 60 years. 2, a public officer may, except as otherwise provided in this Constitution, retire from public service at any time after attaining the age of 45 years. That is the early voluntary retirement. Then the area that we are more interested in, notwithstanding clause 1 of this article, a public officer who has retired from the public service after attaining the age of 65 years may, where the exigencies of the service require, be engaged for a limited period of not more than 2 years at a time, but not exceeding 5 years in all, and upon such other terms and conditions as the appointing authority may determine. So the Constitution is saying that, yes, you can engage a person for 2 year period, but not exceeding 5 years. So constitutionally, there is nothing wrong with what the president has done at all. You understand? And let me say, that notwithstanding that there was this directive sort of from the presidency, that directive does not override the constitutional provision. It is the constitution which is supreme in all these things. But I think that the directive from the presidency should be understood in terms of saying that that constitutional right should be exercised sparingly. It's not an exercise in wholesale where a lot of public servants who are supposed to go, are put on contract and the young ones are still there and there are no jobs. You understand? This is what the directive ought to be understood to be saying. Now, even though that was not expressly stated. But I do not think that that directive has the effect of taking away the constitutional right of the public authority to contract people with special skills, special experience for which they need to be available for some time to prepare people to take over. And like the case of the IGP, the statement that has announced his contract extension is very clear that at the moment there is some restructuring, some reform led by the IGP in the police service. And it's important that he remains in office to see through this reformation. And we are at a period where everybody is complaining about the conduct of the police. And I am very particular about the police because I think that there's so much corruption in the police service that need to be uprooted. And I hope that the reform and restructuring that the IGP is engaged in, which has necessitated its extension, will follow through and to ensure that it affects corruption in the police service. To this extent, I think that, if there is needed by the president to continue and to ensure that the police service is put in a manner that will help the security situation in Ghana, there's nothing completely or anything wrong with that move, and I support it.
Also, congratulations to President GHOne. He gets a 2-year contract extension, even though he originally was set to retire by the end of this year in December.
There's a unit that on Dampare stopped, the cyber unit. That unit, I think he should really reinstate that unit. Because the cyber unit at the police CID, I don't know why Dampare stopped it, right? There were some good men in there doing some good work. Somebody put something about you on WhatsApp, you can go in there, report it, and they can track and call the person in. So they were doing some good work. My friend were able to get help by somebody putting something malicious on WhatsApp about that person, and that unit helped. So I don't know why Dampare stopped it. Right now, I really want IGP to try and reinstate that unit because it's very useful unit that was helping in the day that we are in. All this fake news and stuff like that. People should have a point that they can go and report some of these things to.
And for those of us in the media, one of the things that we appreciate is the fact that now communication has been decentralized again. At first, you could not get any police officer to speak to if something happens, and maybe in Pandai, you'd have to rely on the officers here in Accra. And we wish him well. And gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Kodjo,
thank you.
And Charles Bawadwa also joining us here, Member of Parliament for Bongo. And Kodjo, we know it's possible. They say January 31, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Win with Bawumia, January 31, 2026.
And he knows.
Well, I declined the invitation to comment on it.
I like that. And so, police officer Eben is also. Well, Eben is also congratulating his IGP. Eben. We'll be right back after this. Stay with us. An event that's happening next year, but we're building up towards that. And so in February next year, the Africa Prosperity Dialogues will be taking place again in Ghana. It brings together quite a lot of people, and I have two gentlemen here who will help me better shape the conversation for you to know why you out there need to be a part of Africa Prosperity Network, especially if you are into business, you're an entrepreneur. These days, almost everybody has ventured into entrepreneurship one way or the other. But then you need to take advantage of this because you're looking at what? Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement and how we need to get access to the African continent. This is where it all starts at APD. And I have in studio this morning Dr. Kofi Nyakopong. He is the Chief Operations Officer for the Africa Prosperity Network. And Prince Moses is the Director of the Communications Directorate of Africa Prosperity Network. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you are doing well.
Very well. Adam.
Fantastic. So, I mean, this is not the first time we're doing this. And next year, it promises to be even bigger. But what makes next year's dialogue a lot different from all that we've seen?
All right, so let's begin with unpacking what the Africa Prosperity Dialogues is about.
Definitely.
Now, it mobilizes Africa's private sector to drive the single market. Mm-hmm. Now, the single market being the AFCFTA protocols mm-hmm. that have been written and pushed since its beginning in 2020. Now, it's an annual platform dedicated to deliver on these protocols with utmost urgency.
Right.
So this is done by coalescing some very important people from across the continent, and this includes heads of state, ministers, CEOs, business leaders, DFIs, that is development financial institutions, innovators, etc. And it is for a very good reason that the international media and the international community has described the Africa Prosperity Dialogues as the Davos of Africa. Why? Because it happens in Ghana under the patronage of the presidency of the Republic of Ghana, and with a very important partnership, that is the partnership with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat. And so we have embarked on a series of very important programs since the beginning. But basically, coming back to this business that you were talking about, we have signed, that is this year alone, the Africa Prosperity Dialogues 2025. After a survey that we did internally, of course, surveyed by Dr. Kofi Nyakopong, we realized that we had contributed to the signing of about $2.3 billion in deals, including partnerships, supplies, value chain collaborations. All these were recorded at the event. And so you can also imagine the spillover effect and what would have added to the 2.3 billion in deals that were covered. So the Africa Prosperity Dialogues are incredibly important to our continental agenda of the single market.
Now, you mentioned two important things, that it is always done basically under the patronage of the presidency, and so the country is heavily involved, Ghana. And we also have the AFTA Secretariat here in Ghana. What's the significance of Ghana hosting the APD and also hosting AFCFTA Secretariat?
So in 2021, Ghana was named as the commercial capital for Africa.
Right.
Yeah, and this was conferred to the AFCFTA Secretariat that was present during that event by a number of African heads of state. And so the importance of Ghana with the AFCFTA's presence over here is not lost on anyone. I believe a lot of Ghanaian politicians and technocrats were very instrumental in pushing the boosting of the intra-Africa trade, that's called the BIAT, which came ahead of the AFCFTA framework. And so as we have been involved in this, and as the AFCFTA Secretariat is based here, of course, Ghana becomes the commercial capital of Africa, and this proves our significance. And we being the premier platform for pushing the single market agenda as a strong advocacy platform, of course, we're relevant.
So the gateway to Africa and then the center of the commercial trade, all happening here.
As GIPC would say, Ghana is the center of the world,
right?
Geographically, and this is proven mathematically. And being the commercial capital of Africa, of course,
absolutely,
we're on our good way to becoming the commercial capital of the world.
Interesting. So, Dr. Nakupon, so talk to me, because when I speak to entrepreneurs, one of the key issues they talk about is finance, especially the young entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs as well. And I know at APD, like you mentioned, $2.3 billion in deals. So what opportunities are there for SMEs, women running businesses, young entrepreneurs? Talk to me about the opportunities.
So let me take one step back and tell you about the APD in general. Okay, so this is going to be the 4th edition. Okay, now over the years we've seen real tangible results. Okay, we've proven to be a platform that translates the talk into real tangible outcomes. So we have practical discussions that lead to actionable policies and bankable projects. Okay. Now this year's theme is empowering SMEs, women, and youth in Africa's single market. How do they innovate? How do they collaborate? And how do they trade among themselves? And I like the submission you did when you were introducing us. Okay, you said everybody's doing one business one way or the other. Okay, statistics show that over 90% businesses and enterprises done in Africa are done by SMEs. Okay, yet fewer than 30% of these businesses engage in cross-border trading. Okay, so it tells you SMEs are powerful. When you take a look at women, okay, women constitute nearly half the workforce and over 30% of registered businesses in Africa. So women also a very important demographic. Now when you take a look at the youth, of course, Africa is a very young population. Over 60% of Africa is youthful, and these are the real drivers of growth and innovation in Africa. And so the upcoming edition of APD in February is centered and curated specifically among the specific demographic of SMEs, women, and youth. We are driving inclusivity in the single market agenda. We are, focusing and primarily putting this demography at the center of the table and seeing how we can enable them, perform better when it comes to intra-Africa trade and show them some of the opportunities and things like that. Now, with that said, what are some of the special opportunities? Of course, now for Ghana as the commercial hub of Africa, home of the AFCFTA, home of APD dialogues and things like that, it tells you that we don't have to go to Africa. We are bringing Africa to you if you're a Ghanaian business. Okay, so this backed strongly by the presidency, supported in collaboration with the AFCFTA. We are bringing heads of states under the same roof. We are bringing CEOs under the same roof. We are bringing innovators, heads of DFIs. We are bringing youth innovators. We are bringing SMEs. We are bringing everybody collectively under the same roof. How they can think, how they can plan, and how they can act to drive the single market agenda in Ghana. Now, if you are in Ghana, you're a company, you are playing, you're a local champion, so to speak, okay? But think big, think continental. How would it profit you if you are now exposed to a market of 1.5 billion consumers? And that is what we are talking about when we are removing the borders and integrating Africa. Now, the economic potential of this $1.5 billion market alone is $3.4 trillion. So how do we scale up? Okay, if you're playing local, how do you scale up? How do you get access to regional value chains? How do you grow the networks? How do you grow this cross-border collaborations and valued partnerships to, take your business to the next level? And these are some of the opportunities you're going to get. The networking is going to be rich. You're going to be in the same room as the movers and shakers of the private sector in Africa. And the last edition we brought so many private jets in the country, and people were wondering what was going on. Okay, and like Prince mentioned also, over over $2.3 billion in deals alone. If you look at even the business tourism potential and all that we've been able to achieve with this specific platform, it moves from your ordinary talk shop into real tangible results.
Right.
And that is the opportunity out there for SMEs, women, and youth. We've invited over 12 heads of state who are going to show up. And these are from, talk of Gabon, talk of Ethiopia, talk of Nigeria, talk of Egypt, talk of Democratic Republic of Congo, talk of Senegal, talk of Equatorial Guinea, Kenya, and the like. So all these heads of states are going to show up, and they're going to come with their delegation. Okay,
Right.
the ministers are also going to be show up. So policymakers are going to be in the room. The financiers, okay, the heads of these DFIs, and these DFIs, we are talking of the likes of Afrexim Bank, we are talking of the likes of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, Badia, we are talking of Africa Development Bank, AFC, and then even large delegations from private sectors, like the Africa Business Council. Okay?
Right.
Yesterday, I was trying to book 10 rooms for a delegation, and the hotel told me that it's been taken by another delegation from another country for your same event in February. So Africa is coming. We have confirmed delegations from Egypt, from Algeria, from Nigeria. And so if the continent is coming to Africa and charity begins at home, then why don't Ghanaian businesses be at the forefront of it
Take
and
advantage
take
of
full advantage and then scale up their business, reach out to potential partners on how to grow and impact and drive the single market
So
agenda.
the event is in February next year, but as we speak, bookings have already started. People have already started taking advantage of the opportunities.
Yes,
that lay ahead.
In the 2025 edition,
Yes.
we had over 47 countries participating. Okay, we had over 4,000 delegates showing up at the Accra International Conference Center. This year, we are expecting close to 5,000 participants from over 50 countries who are going to show up. Okay, so if these people all see the value that this platform that Prince Moses was describing is bringing, it tells you that this is really a different platform, and this is where real results, you're going to get real results in terms of driving the single market.
And it's not just business, because I understand there are awards, the Africa Prosperity Champions Awards as well. And with that one, you're also involving KPMG.
Absolutely. So the unique thing about this year's edition is that, as you grow and you're doing nice things, where good people are, we say good people come. And so our partnerships are growing. Okay. This year, we brought KPMG on board to help us with the collation and validation of the models that we use. Okay, just to give the award scheme a very make it extremely reputable. Okay, so if you look at the awards we've given out in the past, we've given awards to the likes of Professor Orama, the past president of Afrexim Bank. We've given awards to President Irfan Ali of Guyana, and so many businesses. Last year, Wodimaya won. Mr. Easy, and we have over 10 categories that we award. Okay, now what institutions like KPMG bring is their experience, okay, their technical prowess in order to make this, truly continental. And that is why we've even opened up nomination to the public. If you think somebody is deserving of an award, you just go to our website and then nominate that person, and then to be considered by the Awards Academy for awards. Now, we are not just focusing on the awards or the dialogues, okay. The APD architecture in itself is very, very grand. Okay, there are a number of segments that make the 3-day event very, very big. So it's on the 4th to the 6th of February 2026. As we speak, over 2,000 people have already registered. So if you haven't,
you're expecting 5,000.
Yes.
And 2,000. Charlie, if
you haven't registered, I don't know what you're waiting for. So all these people have already secured their seats. Okay. Now, with that said, we begin the deliberations with Projet Afrique exhibition, and this is going to be a Pan-African continental showcase where we are exhibiting made in Africa products. We are showcasing what can be done. Last year, for instance, we brought kente weavers from Bonre. We brought the arts, agriculture, agribusiness. We brought IT businesses. We brought the automobile industries, and interestingly, even this automobile industries actually made sales to foreigners. Okay, so they actually benefited from the program. Okay, so if you look at the architecture, there's exhibition going on for 3 days. Okay, then there's a series of breakfast meetings that happen. Okay, these breakfast meetings tackle youth, tackle SMEs, tackle women. They also, there's going to be master classes that are going to be held. There's going to be opportunities for youth in mining, youth in oil and gas as well. And then the main conference starts, in the afternoon, where for day one, we are going to specifically tackle the women. Okay, so there's going to be a planned opening by the First Lady of the Republic, as well as the Vice President, as well, who's also going to show up as well. Day two, we are going to tackle the SMEs in the morning, and then the youth in the afternoon. So just by these first 2 days, the SMEs have been tackled, the women have been tackled, the youth have been tackled. So before we move on to day three, where we bring on board the CEOs, the heads of the DFIs, we bring on board the presidents, just to dialogue and sit and think with the private sector actors, then we have a comprehensive package.
Absolutely.
And then it culminates in this awards gala, the presidential awards that we have at the Kempinski on the 6th of February.
Yeah.
Quite elaborate, yes.
You asked about the categories of the awards. I'm going to be very specific, and so I'm going to read them out to you.
Okay.
And so the first is the Woman of the Year Award.
Okay.
We've got the Young Entrepreneur Award. We've got the SME Champion of the Year. We've got Global African Leadership Award. We've got Excellence in Digital Innovation. That's it. I'm on the right track, aren't I? Financial Leadership SMEs Award. We've got the Green Africa Award. We've got the African Industrialist of the Year Award. We've got the Global Soft Power Award. We've got the Transformational Infrastructure Award. Some of these awards are recurrent. I think about 5 of them are recurrent, and then the other 5 linked to whatever theme the year is focusing on.
Oh, okay.
So that's about the
quite interesting.
Categories.
But even ahead of that, there's this Borderless Africa Now campaign that you're also embarking on for APD 2026. Talk to me about that.
You see, economic transformation is also about a sudden cultural renaissance. We saw that in China. We've seen that across the world. We've seen it in Singapore. And for this to be done, I think we believe at the Africa Prosperity Network that there should be a sudden renewal with our Africanism. Now, in 1884, it took 14 countries in Europe, 14 leaders across Europe, with some of their sharpest, brilliant minds, to sit around a table for 104 days to think about how to carve up Africa and make Africa's resources the point of departure for their sustainability.
Right.
Which is still happening. This is why the Africa Prosperity Network has thought around very practical thematic areas. As philosophical as they are, they're very practical, including the 2024 theme, which really focused on value addition.
Right.
And after that, we realized that across Africa, every economy was talking about value addition because that's where the money is. And that's where Europe's sustainability plan with Africa is. And so this has been an extremely important eye-opener for all of us as we go on. And so that's where the Borderless Africa comes from. Now, once those borders are dealt away with, in practical terms, as in visa-free, free movement of goods and services, we will see innovation boom across the continent. Last year, we worked extensively on what we called the interoperability of payments, across Africa, where we promoted PAPs and a number of fintechs that are trying to help establish a certain situation where you can go to South Africa and buy things with your cedis, or sit in the comfort of your own home in Dakar and buy things from Nairobi. And so that is what we're pushing for. Now it's almost very difficult now to think about a continent-wide currency, but we can do that through the digital currency.
We really can.
And so
do
that is what we push.
Absolutely.
And in partnership with GSMA, the global GSMA, we did it in partnership with Smart Africa, and we had a lot of telcos coming on board: MTN, Telecel, Maroc Telecom, we had Safaricom, just mentioned them, and they were all there. And we were able to push this agenda, which was adopted at the AU as a policy framework. You know, and so one of the things that we're trying to do is with this borderless Africa, or Africa without borders, or make Africa borderless again, or borderless now, you know, what we're trying to do is to bring this understanding to the people of Africa, that without breaking down those systems that were created in 1884 to 1885 by an exogenous system that was intent on sucking our resources for their development. Once we don't think around this and, you know, dismantle those borders,
nothing is going to change.
Yeah, nothing is going to change.
Interesting. And for those watching this now, really excited about these wonderful things we're talking about, and want to be a part of the dialogues next year. People have heard that 2,000 seats are already gone and they are already shaken. And so how do they secure their seats before the 3,000 also runs out?
So just go to our website, www.africaprosperitynetwork.com.
Okay.
Now, every information you need is there, from, you know, trying to register for the exhibition, trying to secure a ticket for the gala dinner. Because remember, the gala dinner is an exclusive event. Yeah. Okay, heads of state are going to be there. It's just going to be 350 seats. So for those, we are selling tickets for you to be present with these movers and shakers, you know, sit and network with them at the Kempinski. But the conference itself is free. And go to the website, register now, and secure your slot. Don't wait for January or February to start, and it might be too late for you. So
it will be too late.
It will be too late for you, actually. And every information you need is on our website. You just go to www.africaprosperitynetwork.com, and you're going to get every information.
And for the conference, we also have some services that may come at a fee. It's free. It's free generally, but some services may come at a fee. Those are the VIP and VVIP services.
Absolutely.
That's those who are going to be needing cars to bus them around, extra security services, valet services, that kind of thing, because we have a lot of very important people coming into town.
Absolutely.
Who will need those services. So for those services, we will be considering a fee. Other than that, it is a free attendance.
Absolutely.
Event.
Prince, thank you so much for coming, Prince Moses, and Dr. John Nyakopon. Thank you.
Kofi Dr. Kofi
Nyakopon. I give him
Nyakopon is very nice.
So we'll see you guys, and I'm sure before February we'll have further discussions as well on APD 2026. Well, this is the GHToday here on GH1 Television. We'll be right back. for staying on with us here on GH today. It's 28 days to Christmas, but guess what? Christmas is coming early to you, courtesy my good friends from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we'll be talking more about that Christmas miracle they're bringing to us earlier than the 25th of December. And to help us have that conversation, my very good friend Dennis Sirifi Banzi, who I would say on air, found a very nice way to make me watch the conference, and I actually loved it, by the way. Dennis is back here. He is the Deputy National Communications Director for Accra East and West Coordination Council, and also Alma Obaka Kwashi, who is Communications Specialist, and a woman who is no stranger to the screens, Kokwi Salome Hansen. She is a renowned seasoned broadcaster and a passionate performer. Have you heard her sing? Well, maybe we'll know today. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, Kofi.
Nice to be on a set and not doing the interview.
That's why I asked you to just come for your seat, and then perhaps I can just go behind the camera.
It's perfectly fine.
You do the job.
It's all right. The baton has been passed.
It's been passed.
Yeah.
Right. But we're talking about light up the world, and Dennis, talk to me about this.
Right. So the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, on yearly basis since the inception of Light the World in the year 2016, has always been a blessing to many people, especially church members and friends of the church, and even those who are not in the same faith with us. All right. So it has become a Christmas tradition or a movement that the church organizes this to lighten other people's life by bringing them joy and also we showing kindness and love to people. So me as a person, I love it when December is approaching, because I'll have the opportunity to participate in the Light the World, event.
Absolutely. And Alma, 2025. This has been happening since 2016. What's going to be different about this year?
So this year's theme is about experiencing his light. He said how we lighten others' burdens. And we know it says that Jesus Christ is the light of the world. So it's about how we experience his light and then how we share it with those around us. And we also improved our website, lighttheworld.org, where there are more ways to share this light with other people.
Right. So it's about sharing the light of Christ, also sharing love. And it's not limited to members of the church.
No, it's not.
Because Kokwi is part, and you didn't bring me shirts. You didn't bring me the shirt some to also light the world with you.
I got my shirt from them. So fire.
I should fire Dennis, right?
Yeah.
But Kokwi, I mean, for you, what does this mean?
Well, as you said, I am Catholic. I'm not a member of the church, but I think that's the essence of this. Spreading the message of Christ's love to everybody.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? So with the Miracle of Christmas, which is where I come in, we're going to be opening up to anyone and everyone who wants to come and celebrate and remember and acknowledge and commemorate the true meaning of Christmas. Putting Christ back in Christmas. It's always been one of my favorite holidays, and it's always been one of the favorite times of the year for me from a musical perspective. When you talk about sacred music, because Christmas hymns, Christmas carols, they're also meaningful, and it's another way of symbolizing basically the beginning of our faith. I mean, Christ was born, and that's how the story begins. And so it's really exciting to be part of the Miracle of Christmas, which is going to be a wonderful concert tomorrow evening. And I'll be emceeing as well. So I'm excited about that.
Wow.
Right.
Yes.
Can I add something too?
No, you need to, because I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it at this point, Dennis.
All right. So, what excites me this year, is about the theme. The theme is Experience His Light, the light of Jesus Christ. All right. So, compared to that of last year's theme was Be Someone's Angel. All right. So during the Christmas festivities, we were people's angels. How did we do that?
Chalaba, you are not my angel.
But this year, I want to spread joy, kindness, and love in order to lighten your life through the life of Jesus Christ. Because this time around, we are inviting you. Your colleague is our MC. And when people who reach out to me, when they saw her ad, they were so amazed that, definitely they will be able to hear the beautiful voice of Koki again once in a church. So it is bringing other people to come on board. And you are not exempted. And you are my good friend. I want you to come and enjoy your. Maybe she will perform a surprise, for you. You may not know.
Maybe.
Yes.
you know where I'm going with this. Wow. So the concert is tomorrow, but then I know that it's not just limited to the concert happening tomorrow. There are launches that will be happening as well. Alma, talk to me about that.
So the launch for this year will happen in Kumasi on December 3rd. And it's a food drive where we prepare food packages and donate them with the help of local community leaders. So they help us find people who would require these help, who need this help, and then we distribute them. And then there will be another one here in Accra as well. We are collaborating with the government chair to find people. Yeah. Oh yeah. So and it's not limited to Ghana. We are doing this across the Africa West area. So other countries are also doing the same thing in their.
They're replicating the same as well. Feeding people, people who need help, just supporting them, showing that indeed it's not just about going to church, sitting in the church and hearing all those things. This is practical Christianity we're showing to you. I'm getting beautiful.
Yeah, like that's what it's supposed to be, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, it is. Wow. Okay, so how do people get to be a part of this? From tomorrow, as for me, the concert, whether they like it or yes, I'm there. Yeah.
You can't miss
people
it.
Get to participate.
Just come. It's free, actually. Yes, everyone and anybody can come. And the pristine Christian Borg Stake Center. So on the main Liberation Road. And we always see, and look, it's probably one of the most beautiful compounds.
Wow.
Can I say in the country? It's literally so beautiful, so stunning. And we're opening up, or they are opening up for anyone to come and enjoy this wonderful concert. There's going to be a lighting show. There are going to be several choirs performing from different denominations. So again, it's that notion of inclusive Christianity. And tomorrow there's no denomination, there's Christianity. So come. And even if you're not a Christian per se, come. Because I think, as Dennis and Alma have already said, it's about sharing that spirit of oneness and togetherness and showing love to others. And that goes beyond a label. That's humanity, actually. So come. The music is going to be great. The camaraderie is going to be great. And it's a welcoming atmosphere. And you'll see some beautiful lights as well. And Latter-day Saints always has beautiful lights. They usually kick it off, and then the whole stretch lights up and all of that. So we're looking forward to a beautiful evening tomorrow. Yeah.
So the miracle starts tomorrow. And then on the 3rd in Kumasi, we start the launching. And then people get to eat for free. Right.
And then I spoke about the website, lighttheworld.org. So other ways you can join in, you can just go on the website. There are these, I would say, digital flashcards that we call them 25 ways in 25 days. So they give little prompts on how you can spread the light. So from 1st December to 25th, it's like maybe hug a friend, smile at someone, like those tiny things.
Oh, those things?
Yes.
Oh, so when does it start? Because I want to participate. I want to smile at someone. And when I see Dennis, I'll frown at him.
But what that reminds me of, though? Those advent calendars? I don't know if any of you remember, as a kid, you used to have, every day you open one window and there's a piece of chocolate or something in there, for children. But it's like that. Imagine an advent calendar for kindness or showing, spreading the word of love and light. And so,
So from the first, you see a lot of people having it on their status, like 1st December, this is what you're doing. It's all over the place.
Joshua, this is what I usually used to do, on a yearly basis. I go through my cell phone and I see those that I haven't heard from them or I haven't called them for a number of months, all right? So I go through it and I put a call to them. And, it gives me joy. Me reaching out to them also excites them. But sometimes you may not know what is happening to them. So we use this as an exercise to reach out to people. And even, comfort those who are mourning. There are so many people who just need just a simple call. They just want to hear your voice. They just want you to, ask them, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
That goes a long way for them to know that you care. So this period, we want everybody to experience the light of Christ in their lives.
Light the world. Right. So the miracle is happening tomorrow. Time again and venue, so that people can, put it down and be there as well. 6 p.m. I know.
6 p.m. sharp.
Venue.
Stake Center Temple Complex.
Right.
Everybody should know the headquarters. This beautiful, beautiful place again. 6 p.m. sharp. We're going live. So
the beautiful space before the commercial ones. It's the beautiful space on your right before the commercial ones.
Yes. So
The commercial-
That's the 57 Independence Avenue.
Right.
57 Independence
Independence
Avenue.
Avenue, right.
From there, then you get to MTN, their headquarters.
Yeah.
Yes. So right from the immigration, and then you get to ours before you get to MTN, their headquarters.
Absolutely.
And it is boldly written 57 Independence Avenue. So that
You cannot miss that.
Yeah, you cannot
cannot
miss
miss
that.
it.
Everybody is welcome.
Right.
Everybody is welcome.
Right.
Yes.
And then Alma,
And the lights.
I'll take a final word. Alma.
So this is open to everyone. We invite everyone to join us. If you can't make it in person, like I said, you can join different ways. Even if you can't access the website for some reason, you can find ways to help a neighbor and share your joy with them.
With them as well. Okay, Dennis?
All right. So as we said earlier on, our doors are open to everybody. Last year when we did the food drive at Medina, where we fed more than 1,000 people. All right. So the food items, the things that we gave them went a long way to brighten their lives. And we became their angels.
Right.
And this year, we want to also extend our invitation to each and everybody to also come and experience the joy and the love of Christ. Because Christ will be born on 25th of December. And as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we commiserate. So we invite all and sundry to come. We are starting it from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, that's the 28th of November at the Christianburg Stake Center in the 57 Independence Avenue. We want everybody to, it's just an hour program, 6 to 7. Last year, guess who was our guest of honor? The Member of Parliament for the constituency, Honorable Senator Rawlings.
Yes.
She was there. All right. So this year too, another prominent person is coming, and we all want to come and then join together, and then we spread the love and joy of Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
So Joshua, I want you to come.
We'll be there.
We will be expecting you.
We'll be there.
You reserve a special.
We'll come and light the world.
Glad to see you there. Yes. Come tomorrow. Come with an open heart and come and receive love and light and bless somebody else as well. So come. It's free. Let's emphasize it is free. Where's the camera? For people who are worried about that, but just come. We'll be happy to welcome you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be there, which means you don't have an excuse not to be there. 57 Independence Avenue. Dennis wanted to make sure that one stuck in my head. It is stuck. I hope you're okay now.
That's it, I'm good.
So Dennis, thank you. Alma, thank you. Koki, thank you.
You're
We are
welcome.
all gathering tomorrow at 6 p.m. We are lighting the world. We are setting the pace for the rest to follow. And remember, it's about sharing the light that Christ shines brightly in our lives. We'll be right back after this break. Stay with us. Forum. I have in studio Mina Amamokani. She is a behavior therapist, mental health and autism advocate, putting together this particular forum. Mina, welcome.
Thank you.
I hope you're doing very well.
I'm doing very well. Hope you are too.
I'm blessed. But talk about the Inclusion Forum. Talk to me about it.
So the Inclusion Forum, Empowering Every Mind, is happening tomorrow, God willing, at Google Ghana, Accra AI Community Center.
Okay.
So we are collaborating with Google Ghana, actually. So we are bringing together educators, teachers, parents, professionals together to empower them and give them basic strategies on how to handle people with special needs or disabilities. So that is what is happening tomorrow, God willing, because we want to limit the stigma in the society. We tend to ignore them, thinking they are not part of us. We can't accept them. Even some schools, some parents do complain when they call, they are crying because some schools are not willing to accept their kids because their kids are special. So this forum is to just empower them. They are not alone. We are with them. And also to teach them where they can get help from. Because sometimes when a parent or a child needs behavior therapist, they tend to go for speech therapist rather. They don't know the differences. Yeah, they don't know where to go for help and all that. So tomorrow, God willing, we are going to teach all these things. So we also want teachers, because in this society, in this country, teachers are not well equipped to be able to tell when a child is special. And we have our keynote speaker, who is the CEO of African Dyslexia Organization, Ms. Rosalind Trenate, who is our keynote speaker. We have people like Hector Moa from Google itself, who is coming to talk about the accessible tools we can use in helping people with disability. Myself, I'll be there. Kobiche will also be there. We have Dr. Irene. So we are bringing professionals from different fields coming together to share and empower us and give us basic strategies on how to handle these children.
But what was the motivation for you to say, you know what, let's host something of this nature?
Okay, thank you so much. So actually, I did internship at Interberton Hospital when I was in University of Cape Coast, UCC. That was when I came across an autistic child. That was my first time hearing about autism. So after school, I decided to go into that field. So I did my national service with Autism Compassion Africa. Okay. That was where I was trained. Yeah, so after that, I was like, no, working with mothers, speaking to them, the complaints and all that, you get to know that the education about special children is very, very limited or low in this country. So I was like, why not be the voice for them? Why not stand up for them? Why not advocate for them? For parents to know that they are not alone. They are also accepted in the society. The stigma is too much that parents can't go out. So I decided to be that person who will be the voice for them. So, and the passion.
Wow.
Yeah, the passion is also there. So
you're really passionate about it. But who can be a part of the forum tomorrow?
Everybody is invited. Teachers, professionals, you yourself, you are invited. You are invited to come.
Because we all need to learn and know these things.
We want workplaces, we want the bosses, the CEOs to also, because people are living with disabilities, ADHD, and because of that, sometimes if you don't understand and the person is working with you, you are always complaining and all that. Teachers especially, school headmasters, because people living with dyslexia, sometimes there are different ways they learn, but because we don't know, we term it wabong in codes, yes, but it's because we don't understand dyslexia, we don't know how we will be able to help these children. So everybody at all is invited, and it is a free program. No, we are not going to pay anything. Free entry. So
come and then acquire knowledge for free.
For free.
Wow.
For free. Just come, acquire knowledge for free.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, God willing, at 9:00 a.m.
It's at 9 a.m. and the venue is the
Google Ghana.
Okay.
Accra AI Community Center. So they share the same building with Accra Standard Chartered Bank.
Okay.
Yes. We are in the same building.
Absolutely.
So tomorrow, God willing.
Okay, Mina. So this is your camera, your final words to people as we wrap up the conversation.
Okay, so the Inclusion Forum is happening tomorrow, God willing. We've anticipated for so long, and it is happening just tomorrow. I'm inviting everybody to be part of this. Just come and acquire knowledge for free. You're not going to pay anything. Just come and learn a lot. Go into the society, go into schools, and impact knowledge into people and help children living with disability or children with special needs.
Absolutely. Well, so there's a friend of mine watching, and he says that he knows one boy with special needs, and because of that, he would be there as well.
He should come. He should come.
Yeah, so Echo will be at the Inclusion Forum as well. But thank you so much, Mina Amamokani.
And I want to say a very big thank you to my parents who are watching me right now.
You have to do that.
Yes,
you have to do that.
Mrs. Mokani, thank you so much. They've been one of my biggest supporters, my big sister Hannah. They've been there since day one.
I'm sure
they don't understand when I started, but they were like, why not? We are supporting you.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much to them.
And they are really, really proud of you. Thank you so much for coming. But it's the 27th day of November 2025. Some wonderful people celebrating their birthdays. And so let's do the birthdays now. This one says, happy birthday to my dearest friend and sister. Eno, you are amazing. We love you. And it's from Afrakuma and Irabna to you. Happy birthday to you, Eno. Happy birthday, Manuel. Wishing you endless joy, good health, and the strength to chase every dream. You're truly appreciated and deeply loved. Have a beautiful year ahead. And it's from your friends here at the EIB Network. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Mama Vic. God bless your new age and grant you peace, favor, and joy. And it's from your son, Kennedy, and it's from me as well. I mean, Kennedy and I were in kindergarten all the way to JHS together. And Mama Vic, very, very sweet woman, and nurse, retired now. Happy birthday to you. We love you so much, Mama Vic. This one also says, happy birthday, Oheniba Kingsley from New Edubiasi. On this special day, may you be surrounded by the warmth of family and friends who cherish you deeply. You've touched so many lives with your kindness and strength. As you step into this new year of life, may your heart be as full as the cake is sweet and your laughter echo for beyond this day. Here's to a year of health, hope, and endless blessings coming from Ekiasika to you, Oheniba Kingsley. Happy birthday to you, sir. All right, so that will be it for the show this morning. Thank you so much for keeping us company. I am Joshua Kodjo Mensah. Do have a wonderful morning.